The first game we look for, Robbie. Tottenham away. When we got Tottenham away. Tottenham away. When we got Tottenham away.
What's up, everybody? Welcome to Tottenham. We're the best place to be in town on a European Championship winning Monday night. Unbelievable, man. Fucking won a trophy right there in Bilbao. We did it. Listen, great to have you all here. Hope you're doing well. Smash like, subscribe, hit the notification bell, and all that good stuff. All your comments, we'll go through them during the night. Any questions or any topics you want us to discuss, get your super chats in. We'll cover them as well. Hope everyone's well. I hope you guys have found some happiness this week before the civil war broke out on Thursday morning in the fan base. That's right. The war has begun. Just after we win a trophy. No doubt I'm going to get it tonight, but bring it on. Bring it on. Let's quickly go around and say hello to everyone. Hope everyone's well. Mari, bro, how you doing? You happy? You miserable? You in? You out? You where are we? What's going on?
Happy. It's a holiday today, and today's Memorial Day, so came from a barbecue, which was very good because I walked in with some chefs, and got some congratulations from some neutrals. So I might bring that up of that conversation later on in the show. So I'm doing good, and I am Simios out.
Unbelievable. Unbelievable.
I'm everybody.
JP, how you doing, man? You good? You happy? You miserable? You sad? You part of the civil war? You backed away from it?
Over the frigging moon. I think today I'm still feeling rough from like Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. I'm still feeling rough. I think I've spent more time at Tottenham since Wednesday than I have at home. It's been a long time. It's been a hell of a long time since we've won a trophy. It's been a hell of a long time since we all as a fan base have literally been so happy. I've never seen people happier than on Wednesday night and on Friday night. Literally from the start till the end, even yesterday. The happiness on people's faces, it's just mad. Like I remember going to a parade in 81, and that was mega. But looking at the people that were there and looking at the happy faces, the smiling, the singing, the joyfulness on people's faces, that's what it's all about. That's what we want, and that's what we'll always be wanting and yearning for, especially on this channel. But I'm good, man. Let's talk about it.
Let's talk about it. Let's go to Lee, the Ange loving fanatic. You've completely turned, Lee. What's happened to you?
Where the fuck's that come from? Listen, I'm a bit like happy. I'm happy and sad, to be honest with you. Sad that Tottenham decided to do the parade on Friday, the only day where I'm the only one in work, which meant I couldn't get up to go up there, which I would love to have done. And I'm very, very happy the fact that I can now walk out of my front door with my Tottenham tracksuit bottoms on or my Tottenham top on, and I don't get any pity laughs or, oh, it's okay. I can walk out my house in pride knowing that Tottenham have won a trophy. Absolutely loving it. Absolutely loving it.
Loving it. Lubo, I saw you in the terraces in Bilbao taking selfies with Vicario and singing the Ange Postecoglou song to him.
I wasn't quite singing the Ange song, but I did have the picture with Vicario. It was great after the match. No, just listen, had 3 days. In fact, I'm literally just coming down today. I think yesterday was unfortunately a wake-up call, but last week was just fantastic. And was trying to work out how many games I've been to between the last trophy and this one. So, for me, it's about celebration. Just delighted, just absolutely brilliant. It was brilliant to win. The whole day was fantastic. The fan zone, I was with Stel for a couple of hours. We had a good laugh, had a little walk down to the ground. The ground was superb. Just enjoyed the pre-match build-up. I thought the team from the first second were terrific. I thought they just fought for everything. And it wasn't pretty, to have 3 shots in 90 minutes and sort of 1 touch in their box in the whole of the second half. But at the end of the day, it's about winning the game, isn't it? And who remembers in years to come, the ins and outs of a match? They just see the results. And, we're Europa League champions for 2025. And that's it. It was absolutely brilliant. Just superb. So sort of finally coming down now after being up there for days and days and days. And as I've always said on these podcasts, it's what it's all about. It's about moments and it's about memories. And last week was one of those.
I agree. It's all about memories, good memories, which we had, which we hopefully might have some more, but we'll get onto it later on. Maz, I don't know if it was you or Lee, but I saw a picture in the WhatsApp group of one of you hugging an empty bottle of spirit. I think it was you. It might have been Lee, actually.
It weren't me then, was it?
It was one of you two.
Yeah. I echo everyone to what everyone said. Basically, I'm absolutely delighted. It was a very emotional day to see us win a major trophy like the Europa. For me, it's still a massive cup. It's a second, obviously, to the Champions League. So anyone who tries to denigrate it, I think that they're foolish. What I would say is it's almost like the team, like the club. A massive weight has gone off our shoulders. We can now look forward and sort of reacquaint ourselves with being a big club. And you hear people saying, "Oh, you're not a big club anymore," and things of that sort of narrative, and that's just. I think we proved that that's absolutely not true. Obviously, if we lost the game, then they're warranted in saying that. But we proved that why we're a massive club. And on Friday, seeing, the celebrations and having 200,000-300,000 people in North London, I don't think I've ever seen any club have that volume of people at a parade. And it just shows what massive support we still have as a club. We are a massive club. We're a huge club. We might not be the elite of the elites, the ones that win all the leagues all the time in the Champions League, but we're certainly up there in consideration, and certainly in the Delight Money League we're up there as well. So, onwards and upwards. I'm delighted.
Agreed. Eugene, you represent us in the Far East. What was going on over there? I saw a picture of this Malaysian double-decker bus with horns and flags. I think it was Malaysia, driving through the streets of... Was it Malaysia?
I don't think that happened here. It was probably me driving the bus, right? But guys, big up, right? Big up Mass, Lubo, Lee, right? JP, Marie, and of course, Stelios now, aka called Simios.
I'm not Simios. So I'm going to change
it. He's going to change it, right? Yeah. But no, to tell the truth, I'm going to have my monologue when the time comes, right? And to tell the truth, I'm delighted, guys. Right, 17 years wait, like what you guys said, the weight is lifted off our shoulders, right? We ain't going to go out on the streets and get bantered now, right? That was Thailand, according to Daniel. Right, Thailand had a bigger celebration, right? And to tell the truth, right? I at the moment I'm still drunk, So let's keep it, right? Yeah.
Yeah, I think we're all in a bit of pain. I just want to get to a super chat, but before I do that, I just forgot to mention our thoughts and prayers with all the fans in Liverpool tonight. The horrible scenes that we saw on the internet, mate. honestly, that could happen at any parade, and it's just so sad. But look, thoughts and prayers with all the Liverpool fans and friends and families and kids up there. Hopefully, it's not too horrendous, but it didn't look great. Sunila, super chat. Yeah, I'll send you the links. Eugene. I'll send you the links.
All right.
Sunila 32. So happy we finally won. I'm not worrying about anything going forward for a few weeks. Probably a wise bet, Sunila. Going to soak it all up and milk it for every last drop. So we've got a couple of photos. We've got a couple of photos to share with everyone. It's not every photo. I am putting together a movie. It's going to come out in a couple of weeks' time of the whole thing. So watch out for that. But look, this is what it meant to fans. Graham, Phil P, his dad, Lubo, JP with his son, and someone they've met in the pub.
Claire, Karen, I don't know. This is Nick, who I saw on the train coming down yesterday, actually. So we had a good chat. So big up to Nick. Watches the channel. Tom, of course.
Tom 81.
That was at the end of Friday. Friday night, Saturday morning. I can't remember.
JP invading the pitch.
It's things like this, right? I could sit there with my son. Gladly enough, it was lucky enough to be on the pitch. But it's moments like this, after 17 years of us winning a cup, 40 years of us winning a European Cup, that should be embraced and rejoiced. Right? It's moments like this. Never mind who the manager is. At that moment in time, I didn't care if he was coming in, going out, Levy in, Levy out. None of that shit. Brendan Johnson. None of that mattered. The whole thing that mattered was, do you know what? We've just won a European Cup.
That's it.
That's what it's about.
That was the last game of the season yesterday. Ashmatic in the pub, having a drink with him. Lubo with his son, sharing memories. Lots of families having those moments. Danny, JP, my uncle Graham, my brother, me. This fan, I forgot his name. Beg your pardon, buddy. He watches the channel. Perchy smashed off his face in the terraces. There's Vicario taking a selfie with Lubo. I found it. Phil P. Graham, his dad. That was us again. Who's this? There he is. Ben Simios, Danny, and Alex. And there's the winning parade bus and the scenes at White Hart Lane. Sorry, I haven't got the picture of Mari and I can't remember if it's Leo Maz. They both sent me a picture of an empty bottle. I can't find it. But I did have a picture of them with a bottle of spirit. But...
Well, no, I do have the... Actually, I do have it. It's on... unless you removed it. Oh, you might have...
I think I deleted it to make room, Mari. I think I've deleted it. Yeah.
And
sorry, but there was a picture of Mari.
Putting together your video. You putting together your video still. I've got a hell of a lot of clips. I've been meaning to do it for yesterday and today, but today was purely a sofa day, man. I just couldn't do anything. I was just sitting on a sofa, but I'm going to collate everything out of videos and stuff and kind of like we'll get that out because do you know what? It was amazing being on the pitch and people just running up screaming and stuff like that. It was...
Listen, send me the videos. Send me everything you got, everyone. I'm going to put it all together. I've got some classic videos for this. I've got some classic videos. Look, guys.
There you go.
We've had fun. There he is. There he is. Look at him.
That was Wednesday night. I was so shit-faced.
Hell yeah.
Tequila. Mexican tequila. Yeah.
So, look, we've won a European trophy in arguably the worst ever league campaign I think any of us can remember. We've spent a whole year bashing Ange, bashing Levy, bashing Mason, Jedinak, Munn, Lange, fans, ourselves, YouTube. It's been absolutely atrocious. But at the end of it, we've got a European trophy, number three in the bag. 4 European trophies, but our 3rd UEFA Cup. We're back in the Champions League. The season's been saved. It was do or die, and we did it. I don't want to go down this road, but this is where we're at. How the hell are we having these mental Ange in, Ange out rows, guys? How have we got here within a few days? Like, what is going on? It's killed it for me. It's killed it for me a bit. And Lee was saying it earlier as well. before we went live. Lee said it's kind of killed it for him as well.
I'll say my little piece on it. So I am quite disappointed that the venom that a lot of people have gone after each other with this Ange and Ange out type thing. I think that we need to all remember that it was an amazing achievement for Tottenham Hotspur, regardless of who the manager is, what players are on the pitch. We all love the club. We all want us to win. It doesn't matter in the manner we won, but we won. And that weight has been lifted off our shoulders, and now we can look ahead as to what the future will hold. Now, I think that one of the reasons why the fan base is split is I think there's a wide acknowledgement. I think from most fans, if I'm honest with you, I don't think there's many that rate Ange as the saviour of Tottenham in terms of what he's built. But there is an acknowledgement that he has done something that potentially other managers haven't done. But that's not to say that just because he's won a cup, he's better than any of our previous managers, or what he's built is better. It's just that he's achieved something that they haven't at a micro level. I think where the arguments are really coming in is how do we move forward from this? How do we shape the club post that success? Yeah. And this is Levy's biggest challenge now, because he's allowed the club to regress so bad since the Pochettino days, the Redknapp days, and he had opportunities to back world-class, some of the greatest managers that have ever been in the game, in Jose and Conte, and he didn't. And he's, obviously backed this manager that, let's be honest, has been quite awful for Spurs. And I don't really think he's built anything. When you look at the team, you don't really see how we're going to compete with that squad going forward. Yes, we've got Van der Ven and we've got the Udogis and Poros and Vicarios and Madisons. But aside from 3 or 4 players, we have got a pretty poor team. So he's 4 transfer windows or 3 transfer windows that he's had. He hasn't built a great squad or a great team, as the results suggest, albeit we've won the cup. And it's we're at crunch time, right? If we keep him, which I think it's more than likely that we will, is that going to be a path for us to move forward? I really don't think it will. Everyone knows my opinions on Ange. That hasn't changed. Him winning, whilst I'm grateful to him that he's won the cup for us, I can't see a future with Ange in charge that's going to be positive. But I'm not going to go after anyone for being Ange in or out. It for me, it doesn't matter. And the reason why I say it doesn't matter is we've won a major trophy, right? We can have the season off and relax and bask in our glory without having to worry about, who the manager's going to be and stuff like that. In my point of view, all I've ever wanted Spurs to do is win trophies and compete. Fire. And that's it for me. That's my little speech over. I'm like I said, I'm Ange out. I don't want him at the club. I don't like him as a person, but I'm not going to take away his achievement, what he's done for the club, what joy he's brought to a lot of people. So if someone's Ange in, so be it. But I know we're going to go into it a little bit more later, so I'll say my piece then when we go into it more.
Guys, why have we gone into Ange in, Ange out so rapidly after winning the trophy? I mean, I was oblivious to it because I was abroad, And then the parade came along. I landed Thursday night. I got home Friday morning, woke up, went straight to the parade. I didn't do any YouTube. I didn't jump on any streams. Come Saturday, all hell's breaking loose. I'm like, what's going on? What have I missed? How did we get there so quickly? Are some people just using it as a tool to cope with the fact that Ange, against all the odds, won this trophy when we've been slating him all year? And are some people just kind of so not used to winning they don't know what to do? Fuck, let's just go back into crisis mode. That's where we live. We can't sit in a happy zone.
I would say that's probably not a bad way of summing it up in a way. I think one thing I would say is that could be slightly hypocritical is that obviously not out of any of us, but what I will say is that obviously there were a hell of a lot of people prior to that final where I've had enough, Ange out, job done, right? He's no good and stuff like that. And I think, and this is my assumption, I think it may have come from obviously with winning it, the Ange Postecoglou song was sung a hell of a lot, right? By a hell of a lot of people. So I don't know if that's wound people up because prior to that, everyone was out for him. It was a couple of times, like I said to Gallagher, I can't sing it. Brennan Johnson song, Brennan Johnson, Ale. Love it, let everyone sing it. Everyone's happy and stuff. I was just like, I can't sing it, right? I'm happy, I can't sing it because like otherwise I wouldn't like it. I wouldn't like myself for it. But that's the only thing that I can see that's maybe got people riled. And you know, the fact that some people are maybe were rejoicing him as opposed to just saying no, kind of like 10 hours later or 12 hours before or whatever, everyone was like Ange and like we kind of hate him.
I'm gonna put my counselor's hat on, and I thought about this in preparation of the show. I think fear makes people do things and react to things on either way. In this situation, either you're for Ange or you're out for Ange out, whatever. And I think this season, and I can speak for me personally, I don't want to say depressed. I was checked out, but there were people I know who were literally depressed by this season. And in reality, most people, even the ones who were going to extreme, he can't leave. There were points at times where they're like, this team is dreadful to watch. Each week, you see their team get pumped, make reference to Bonnie Blue, Pornhub FC, Lily Phillips, whatever. And so people in fear because, like a dead clock is right twice a day. We had that moment. And it was a beautiful moment in winning the Europa. So now, those, I would say, on the Ange out, I don't want to say everybody that's Ange out. I think me and Maz and a couple who are still Ange out, who are reasonable, and, hey, let's enjoy this, right? The clock is right, though it's dead. Let's celebrate this. But that fear of, oh no, we have to live through another season of that in hopes of, because honestly, not anybody really think we're going to win the Champions League, in hopes of the FA Cup, hoping for an unfortunate run in the FA Cup or Carabao Cup and finish 12th, 13th, because people don't really like his tactics. People know that he has a system that makes a lot of injuries. Injuries are not going to go away. So people have that fear, rightly so. But like I tell my students, it's not the feelings that is wrong. It's the reaction. It's what you do next, right? Because happy, sad, mad, like all those are natural feelings. We're human beings. It's what you do with it is what is important. Is it going to be positive or is it going to be negative? So I think what you're seeing right now, the big fight is, yay, Ange led us to a trophy. But the fear is, no, that means he's staying. And I got to live through another season, though he said season 3 is going to be better. But a lot of people are not buying it. Honestly, me, I'm not buying it. But it's that fear of, damn, we're going to have to relive this all through again and hope and pray to God we get a fortunate run. We play Tamworth each round of the FA Cup and win it. So I think fear.
No, we don't want another Tamworth, Maury. No. No, thanks.
So I think fear makes people do things, and so it is.
Guys, can I have my say? Because to tell the truth, right? I understand what Mari is saying, right? That's the fan base having PTSD, right? We've been having PTSD for a long time. All I'm going to say is, right, I'm not Ange in, I'm not Ange out. All you guys know that I've been Ange don't care since after those 10 games when they all came and said we got our Tottenham back. I went on my rant, all that you all know, right? The only thing is that I don't understand is that, right, our fan base, not even after 17 hours after won that Europa League, right, we already got into the civil war and all that, right? I always been saying this, why can't we savor this moment and enjoy it, right? We don't have to go to become like this all of a sudden overnight, right now. And the thing is that, right, we already in these debates about Ange in, Ange out. Why are we thinking about that, right? Have we lost so much of our senses, like being human beings and all that, right? Where's the grace? You guys, we won a European trophy after 17 years, 41 years after winning a European trophy, and we're arguing about petty little things like that.
It's not even been a week.
Yeah, it has not even been a week. We put that all aside. We've got the whole summer, right, to go in on our club, to go in on this. But at this moment, guys, I was doing live streaming on that day, right, in the Mamak restaurant, guys. The boy in front of me haven't seen a trophy in his life being a Spurs fan. He was crying in the restaurant. Imagine that, the emotions. And a lot of people talking, oh, is it an emotion? Is it a moral decision? Why are we doing all this? Of course, it's an emotional decision, feeling. Happiness is an emotion, right? Happiness is an emotion, right? We shouldn't be bantering our own selves. We shouldn't be acting like cannibals. We should be going out there, right, and smashing the Manchester United fans, the Arsenal fans, making videos, making fun of them and all that, number one. And the best question I got to ask all you guys, we are all football fans. What are our objectives? The trophy. Now we've got the trophy. Enjoy it. Savor it, guys, right? I mean, I understand everyone has got their opinions. Everyone has how they want to feel. And to tell you the truth, Stel, remember I said this earlier in your channel about in January, I was saying that, right? Ange won't get sacked, right, until he loses that Europa League position. And after, remember, all of us, right, were already saying, we're going to lose to Frankfurt. No, we beat Frankfurt. From Frankfurt onwards, right, I became positively deluded, guys. Remember, Matt, I went on a show with you and Lubo, if I'm not mistaken, right, on Dan E's show, right? I was being positively deluded that we're going to win this, right? I went on a Manchester United fan preview show, right? We got smashed. I couldn't say anything. But now I'm just waiting for my revenge, right? They say we can't do this. They got the pedigree, blah, blah, blah. Now I'm turning around and says that who's got what, right? And I've been saying this, right? Guys, we've broken that Spursy curse, right? Because who gave us that Spursy curse? Manchester United. This season, we beat Manchester United 4 times. And the best part is we beat them to the trophy. Guys, we beat them to the trophy. And why can't we savor that instead of going at each other and each other's necks, right? And I pity Stelios, right? I've been telling Stelios, if Ange wins this, we'll give him extra time, right? To see what he can do, whether he will improve, but then the whole fan base goes into this PTSD mode. Oh no, we can't do this, we can't do that. 22 losses. Guys, I know. We've been shit the whole season. I do watch-alongs, right? And I'm sitting there screaming at our players, why are you giving the ball away? Why are the white sides all open? No one is defending. right? We've gone through all of it. Guys, we've gone through all of it, right? Put that aside. Enjoy the moment. I know even now it's like 4 days after. Enjoy the moment. But we don't even enjoy that moment. Less than 17 hours, we're at it again. Oh, and that's the worst part, right? And that is the part that makes me sad. Like what Lee said in the back room. Right? That makes me sad when I see Spurs fans can't enjoy the moment and savor it, right? When you have memories like JP, he was sitting on the stadium grass, right? The announcers had to announce to the fans, right? Please get off the grass. We have a game against Brighton this coming Sunday. Remember, JP?
Surprise wasn't the excuse. Anyway, listen, just
I got to say, you know what I'm saying? But coming to it, being a Spurs fan, oh my God, right? This is the first time I've actually enjoyed winning a trophy, right, with actual Spurs fan. The last time in 2008, right, when we won a trophy, right, I was drunk like shit in the KTV room in Malaysia at 4 or 5 a.m., right? I can't even remember what I did that night. You know what I'm saying? But come down to it, right, I understand. I understand the feelings and all that, but why don't we dissect this, right, a bit later, right? But now it's 4 days after, the war has broken out.
We're going to dissect it tonight, so just to let you know, we are going to dissect it tonight.
Look, listen, Eugene's right.
Can I just do a quick super chat?
Oh, fine. Super chat's over me. I don't care.
Because people paid for them to be read out, and they're just sitting here, and I don't want to. Big up Tom81, member for 20 months. Jason Groves, how you doing, brother? Hope you're doing well. My main issue is not an Ange in or out, as he's earned the right to begin next season. It's, as usual, will Levy finally back a manager with proper signings?
That's a great super chat.
One more thing, Stel. I miss Will Stewart. Where is he? We started this 5 years ago, right, bro? And all these people, Will Stewart, Guguma, even Jason Groves. Jason Groves, I know him, right?
Yeah,
he was one of the
Stewart, Jason Groves.
All these people.
There was another nutcase. I'm telling you, bro. Marcelo.
Yeah.
Marcelo.
And don't forget, what about Daniel?
Eugene, we'll go through the list later. I want to do the super chats. We'll go through the list later. Right. We're going to be here for 10 minutes reading up a list from 2019. Henry from TV, big up to you. He says, Mari's on the piss. Mari's on the pit. There you go. Mari, bit of love for you.
Big up.
Yeah, Lee.
Listen, there was the inevitable. This conversation was going to happen, whether it was we won it or we didn't. The conversation around Ange, what's happening next season, etc., was going to happen. For me, I'm just amazed, absolutely amazed that it went so quick. The conversation came up so quick. I would have, if we had lost the final and it was like a couple of hours after the parade or even after the match, I could absolutely understand it. But to have these type of conversations right now, it's just bamboozling. It really is. I can't think of a worse time to have this type of conversation. I think a lot of you lot know my opinion. My opinion hasn't changed, no matter what the outcome was on Wednesday. But I am literally biting my tongue on some of the comments, on the conversation, etc., because it's just not the right time. You know what I mean? Yeah. Just leave it lie, let it be, let it simmer a little bit. You know, let it cool down, and then we'll have that conversation in a week or so. I mean, as far as I know, Ange is off on holiday today anyway, so we're not going to hear anything from him or the club probably. And that would be the most Spursiest thing if we heard an announcement like at the end of this week or something, and Ange is sitting on a beach somewhere and knew nothing about it. That would be as Spursy it can possibly get. But yeah, it's the more the surprise at how quickly this has happened, especially given we actually won the trophy, and how quickly things have turned. It's just amazing to me how we can, as a human race, can literally go so negative so quick after such a positive outcome. It's bad. I'm bamboozled by it all, to be quite honest with you. But there we go, human nature, I suppose.
Do you know what? I'm not going to lie to you, Lee. I'm more tired from the Ange arguments than I am from actually partying, dancing, jumping, screaming for the last 4.
Yeah.
Honestly, from Monday to Friday, I was battered. But this weekend, it's drained my life.
Mate, it's been hard watching it. I mean, I've had plenty of links to go on plenty of shows, and do you know, I was like, no, I'm not going on them. I'm just going to sit back. I'm not going to get into that conversation. I don't want that conversation. Let's just enjoy the moment, and you know, bank holiday weekend. You know, kids are off school. I've got to deal with them enough, so I don't need to deal with this as well. So we'll get to that point when we need to get to it.
Let me go to Lubo. Got a couple more super chats quickly. Big up BSC Radio, the internet versus reality. 225,000 at the parade were joyous and ecstatic. Look to the real life for a true representation of how fans feel. Yids. Jamie Allen says, to be fair, this is pretty much the only time we can have an Ange in or out convo because the decision will be made on him soon. I think he's gone, though. Come on, you Spurs. Luba, what do you want to say to this? Why are we in this state of civil war after getting that monkey off our back? But not just any monkey, a Champions League qualifying one. You know, and we've really silenced Sky Sports, shut that fool Jason Cundy up, that Rory Jennings plonker. We've silenced the Gooners. We've silenced AFTV. We've shut up a lot of people, and all we want to do is have a civil war. Why? Why, Lubo?
I don't know. I think that, listen, we've since Chelsea, November 23, for me personally, it's been a shit show. And I've been on many podcasts, and it's been quite gloomy, quite down, quite depressing. You know, we've discussed all the faults that have brought about 34 league defeats in the last 66 games. So my feeling is we've won a trophy. It's been 17 years. Let's enjoy it. Otherwise, all it is gloom and doom. It's gloom and doom when it's bad, and it's gloom and doom when it's good.
If you can't enjoy winning a European Cup.
So seriously, what's the point? Iggy said I think what Iggy said was right. Let's enjoy it. During the first, we can always come back to it and have a chat. The season doesn't start. I think our first competitive game, proper competitive game, not talking about friendlies. I think the season starts on the 16th, and on the 13th we'll be in Udine to play either PSG or Inter Milan in the Super Cup. So we've got 2.5 months. What have we got? 11, 12 weeks now till the next match. So let's enjoy a few days.
Well, we can even do it next week. Bloody hell.
Yeah, no, absolutely. You know, there isn't a time deadline on enjoyment, particularly with this team. And you're right. We've got to enjoy it. You know, my son on final whistle went. He just burst into tears. He was with me for the Chelsea game 17 years ago, but can't remember half of it. He was only 8 at the time, and for him, this was like absolutely fantastic. And I know he went on the Savage show and trolled me the other night, playing my Ange out interview with Hotspur with Football Joe in January. But let's enjoy the win. You know, it's so rare. It's been 17 years. And for me, for whatever reason we got there and we won it, we have an owner who just isn't interested in this football side being successful. So God knows, who knows whether I will actually be alive when the next time we win a trophy. That's genuinely how I feel with Levy, because for him, it's all about profit. So I'm going to enjoy it. And I'm 67. Please God, I've got another 20 years. This was 17 years between trophies.
I think another thing too is that you gotta look at the nature of it. This is content creation world. You know, I've only known this to be for 4 or 5 years. If this was 6, 7 years ago, like people are celebrating, and that conversation of what happens next usually doesn't happen till maybe you meet up a week, maybe later at the bar or at the barber shop, and you talk about okay, we've won, what happened next? But because this is YouTube, Twitter, content creator world, so the topic comes up. I will say, in fairness, because I'm not talking about the Spurs, but in all sports, once the season ends, right, and this is not with our fans, this is now the board and administration, the board, the Spurs. Even before the final, we hope they're working on a contingency plan, because as of now, as this new week, right, Monday, we still don't officially know if he is gone or if he's not gone, and we should already be calling prospective players who are going to be coming in. Are we signing Tell or are we not signing Tell? So these are questions for our fans, maybe not to dwell on because we're celebrating, but the team and then content creators, because we follow the teams. Yeah, the question of, okay, Man United just signed. Oh, they're looking to sign Mbappe, Mbeumo, wrong M, and then they signed Cunha. Okay, they're ready on the work. Liverpool's already on the work. All these teams, and now we're playing Champions League. We need to get the ball rolling, but then that's content creator world, right? Us fans, we go out to the bar. We're still celebrating. We're still relishing Wednesday. But on YouTube world, right, you kind of have to keep up with the Joneses. Hey, okay, Liverpool just won. Wow, Liverpool's signing Verts. Boom, boom, boom. So, and I hope the board is already at work on what we're going to do, because if you believe Dave Ornstein, Ange hasn't got that call of, hey, you're coming back. We still don't know. And we kind of have to know soon. We kind of
Maury.
We can't wait. Wait, well, listen. Can I finish?
Maury, the club would have been speaking to players already.
Let him finish. Let me
finish. We can't wait till Paratici. Because I was kind of confused. Paratici's coming in the door June 1st. No, it's actually coming in July 1st.
July.
So now, that is the huge elephant in the room. We kind of need. We can't wait a month of figure out, okay, who is our coach, and if Paratici has the influence, then Daniel Levy, either you're Ange out or Ange in, has to have that conversation this week with Ange. It has to happen this week. But like I said, that's content creator world. Us fans, we're out in bars, parks. We're with families. We're celebrating. So that
I think what I find really funny about the whole arguments that I've seen is when people say, oh, why you leave you out then? If you want Ange to stay because he's giving you what you want, and it's actually the opposite is true. It's like if he keeps Ange, right? Then why aren't you guys out protesting? Because he's keeping the manager that he's got the worst record of all the other managers. You can't have it both ways. The people can't have it both ways. You can't be against the protest, say you don't want to go to the protest, and then start pointing fingers saying why you guys leave you out. It's nuts. The reason why we leave you out is because he's got 25 years of history there, and it ain't been great. Yeah, we've had good managers, Joel Redknapp, Poch, Conte, I would argue, and Jose to a certain degree, albeit they were very short. But yeah, he's giving us good moments for sure. But the fact of the matter is that we haven't had great moments, and we can't be a club where our greatest moment under Levy's tenure is a bloody Champions League final that we lost. And we've had a great moment now. But that doesn't erase the history. And it doesn't erase what's been built. And that is the current problem. And I think that is why there's so much division in the fan base, because winning the cup is one thing, and I'm absolutely delighted for that. But it's how we build and move the club forward in the future. And it all comes down to Levy again. Is who's he going to bring in? What's he going to change? What players are going to bring in? You can't be. Sorry, I just want to say this, right? You can't be pointing at someone like Stell, right? Because Stell's gone delusional and he's happy about Ange and everything, right? And then then speak on the other side of your mouth, right? And say, oh, I don't want to protest against Levy. I don't want to do this. I don't want to do that. Well, Levy's the guys bringing in all the crap players, right? So if you do want Ange out, then make sure you're at the protesting against Levy, so I can buy bloody better players as well. Because you can't have it both ways.
I agree, except for the delusional bit. I agree with everything you said. Quick super chat. It's big up, Jamie. It's a talking point because Ange basically gave up the league in January. If we finished anywhere from 4th to 10th, this conversation wouldn't be happening, in my opinion. Ange out. Look, I want to clarify something because I've tried to do it on other shows, and I think now I can do it from a calmer place because I'm on Tottenham away. I'm a bit calmer here. For me, right, I'm being really honest with you guys. I have fucking hated this football club for 5 years. Like, hated it. I've hated going to the stadium the last 2 years. I said to JP about 2 weeks ago, JP, I'm not renewing my season ticket. I'm done. And JP goes, yeah, I'm thinking the same. I've hated sections of our fan base. I hate the way that he puts the tickets up on the senior citizens and our fan base don't give a shit. I hate the fact that we sign average players and we accept mediocrity and the chairman doesn't give a shit and the fans don't give a shit either. I hate the fact that we are okay losing every year, losing every week. I hate the fact there's red on the kit. I hate the fact there's no statues. I could go on and on and on, right? I have despised this club to the point where I said, JP, I'm done. I'm out. To hell with it. I'll go find another hobby or another club. And earlier on in the season, when we beat Man City, Lubo said to me on this show, we just beat Man City. Can't you just be happy? And I remember Lubo and I said, I don't feel anything, Lubo. I feel nothing. Right? Do you remember when I said that? I'm like, I have no feeling whatsoever. This last week, right? I can't tell you what Bilbao was like, what happened, what it was like for me at the parade, what it's been like with my family, what it was like going to the final game of the season and the end of match parade. I can't tell you what it's like. It's an experience. How do I share that? But what I know is I fell in love with my club again. Like, I genuinely love Tottenham Hotspur again. I feel something for the club again. I haven't had that for 5 years. And maybe it was luck. Maybe it was fluke. Maybe it was just good fortune. But Ange said he was going to win this trophy in this season, and he did it. And he gave me that feeling again. I don't think Ange is perfect. I think he's got a lot of flaws, a lot. I don't think he develops players well enough. I don't think he tactically is flexible enough week in, week out. And I've got massive concerns about the way he says one thing and does the other. But he won a trophy. Mourinho couldn't do it. Poch couldn't do it. Redknapp couldn't do it.
I really want to come in on that point because I've obviously heard you say this about a dozen times. But make sure we come back to this, though. Right?
We'll come back. You can speak next. You can speak next. Yeah. All these managers had opportunities to go for easy cups like the Carabao. We lost to Genk. We lost to St Etienne. We lost to Colchester. We lost to Sheffield United away. We have lost to so many shit teams and gone out of cups. This guy comes along. I'll beat Frankfurt. I'll beat Bodo. And in the cup final, and this is what did it for me, guys. This is what did it for me. And I want to be really clear. We've been to cup finals with Redknapp, with Poch. We went to this cup final. Tactically, he got it bang on the money. Fuck Ange ball, go Mourinho ball, stink it out. Come on, United, break us down. Because with the players I've got, I don't think you can do it. He got the goal. He sat back. When it mattered, he went to a back five and brought on Danzo. Tactically, that was the right move. He didn't show emotion. He didn't show any emotion. He played it from up here like a winner does. He didn't start Son Heung-min when Poch started Kane out. This manager said, fuck that. We're winning this game today. And he picked the right starting lineup with players in their best position. We were debating who's going to play in the 10. Will it be Odeba? Will he put Intel? Will he? He said, I ain't going to force a player in a position they haven't played. Sarr, Bissouma, Bentancur, you play midfield, you start. And when we slagged him off, and I slagged him off, why isn't he gone full strength against Crystal Palace? Fucking hell, this idiot. Man United went full strength the other night. It worked in the final, didn't it? So for me, and listen, guys, I could be massively wrong with this. I really could, because I've slagged him off to the max, man. I'm really putting my neck out on the line. You know, I'm called Simios. I'm called an embarrassment. I'm called a flip-flop. I'm called a con man. I'm unsubscribing from Tottenham away. All right, I'm going to get it all. Fine. But when it mattered, he won this trophy. He fucking won it. When all the rest had chances and they didn't. And he did it with a squad. Yes, he signed off on it, but it's not the best squad. He just found a way. And he showed that winning nous that we needed. I'm not saying Conte is crap.
Here's my problem with what you're saying.
I'm going to finish. Let me wrap it up. I'm not saying the other managers are crap. I'm not doing that. But when it mattered, he found a way. And for me, I would rather keep someone that's proven they can find a way to win under this regime with this drop of players, and hopefully we add some good ones to it and see what he does next season. I think he deserves that chance because I love my club again, and he found a way to make it happen. And yeah, maybe it might be a bit emotional, but all the other managers couldn't do it, man. And when it mattered, and I repeat this, when it mattered, he made every right decision to win a trophy. When the rest, I could find flaws in their decisions when it mattered. So that's where I'm at, guys. Call me what you want. I don't mind. And I'm happy to say I was wrong about him not winning a trophy. I own it. I own that shit. Call me what you want. That's where I'm at, guys.
Let me come in because
leave out Jose. That's all I'm gonna say. Yeah. Because Jose didn't get a chance.
So the problem.
Yeah, but Jose, sorry, Mari, but Jose threw all the players under a bus. Where Ange blame me. He took all the heat.
No, but that's different.
Yeah, no, it's not because Ange managed the board better than Jose. Ange managed Levy better than he did. He took all the hits for Levy.
Allow me to come in and talk about it.
It does matter because if Jose played it a bit smarter, maybe Levy wouldn't have sacked him.
Hold on. Let me come in. Mari, just hold on, dude. Right. Still, the problem I've got with what you said, right, is when you say that he done something that all the managers couldn't, right? And on a factual basis, yes, you're right. He's won a cup, okay? However, the difference between what Ange has done and what the other managers done and what Levy's done now and what he hasn't, what he didn't do for the other managers is all the other managers, they had clear instruction that if you don't get in the top four, you're gone. Right? He never done that to Ange. Right?
Well,
he allowed.
He did, Maz.
No, he didn't. Because if he did do that to Ange, right, he would have probably sacked him very early on in the second.
Maz, we got top four. We got top four through the back door. He did it.
But hold on, right?
That's why
he did it. Yeah, because he did it because he waited right to the end of the season. Whereas historically, still, Ange would have been gone early on in the season if Levy treated him
because we were out of those European competitions, Maz. Because we were out of those European competitions, he kept Jose until he got dumped out of Europa. This is what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying.
He kept Jose, but he was in a final. What do you mean?
Yeah, but we were out of top four. That top four was done, like you said.
No, we were only 5 points off top four. He had plenty of opportunity to get into the top four. He sacked him well early. He sacked him in bloody February.
Wasn't it because Mourinho was going to play a weak team against Southampton midweek?
and
Mate,
it's proving my point.
March 21st, Mourinho got sacked. It was 2 days
Sorry,
before
apologies, right? But the point is, he had opportunities to still make top four and win us a cup, right? And get us into Europe and all that sort of stuff. What I'm saying is that Levy didn't afford grace to the managers that should have been afforded grace. Whereas with Ange, we're all saying throughout the whole season, literally game by game, he's going to get sacked next week. If he loses that team, he's going to get sacked next week. And he didn't, right? So to say that Ange done something the other managers didn't, I think is not really that fair, because Levy never backed the other managers like he backed Ange. Right, he never allowed them to play the final like he done.
Poch had the best team we've ever had in the Premier League, and we lost to Colchester's, and we lost.
Yes, but what certainly what Conte did, and certainly
how do you explain that, Maz? How do you explain that losing to those teams? Ange did it.
Certainly what Redknapp, Poch, and I would say a little bit of what Conte did is they built the foundations, right, of making us a massive club that can compete with the other big boys in the league, right? With the instruction from the board, you have to get us into the Champions League, right? Yeah. Levy didn't want to win cups. Now, look, you're right. If you're going to pinpoint out certain games, yeah, fine, they all lost, and you know, whatever. But the difference is they built strong teams. They made us a big club. They made us respected. Ange hasn't made us respected.
But they won nothing.
But Ange hasn't made us respected. We were up until the final. We were an absolute laughing stock.
Yeah,
we'll take.
I agree.
Piss taken out of around the world, right? So I don't like this
now, right?
Sorry,
they can't laugh now, right?
But that's why everyone's divided. Yeah, but this is why the divisions happened.
But Maz, right? All I'm doing is explaining, guys, this is why I'm in this position now, right? I've hated the club. I feel something for it again. And this guy, and I know it's a hard one for us to swallow. He did what no manager did.
But why? But the problem is still is I think you're not thinking clearly.
I am,
right? Because but
I think Phil's thinking clearly.
No,
I can give you an example, right?
Let him explain.
Let me explain. Right. The reason why I don't think you're thinking clearly is you know that the evidence is pointing towards Ange.
Sorry, someone's alarm's going off in the background.
I think it's. Let me just close the window. Give me a sec.
Maybe close the window, guys. It may be something outside.
It's mute.
I'm mute. Is it Maz?
Maz's car's off on. Maz's car's off down the road. Don't worry about it. Don't worry about it.
Has he got car insurance or not? You better have car insurance.
No, I think it's a house alarm or something.
Someone's
it's got me off track now. Yeah, because you know that Ange, as an example, right? He's tactically, for me, he hasn't got it. Certainly in the league, he hasn't got it. He's made tons and tons of mistakes, right? I think, fortunately, for the last 3 games of the Europa, and only the last 3 games, he got it right, because he literally chucked out his philosophy out the back door.
When it mattered, Maz. When it mattered. That's what winners do. That's what winners do, Maz. That's what I'm saying.
Can I just
hold on?
I never thought he had it in him. He did it.
But the problem with what you're saying is he's had 3 opportunities to do it in the first season and he didn't. Right, and he had another 2 opportunities this season.
How many did Poch, Conte, Redknapp have?
But they built winning teams that qualify for Champions League and
their teams won nothing, man. Their teams won nothing. They're not winning teams. They're not winning teams.
Final. Chelsea didn't get Chelsea. He only had one.
Jose lost to a manager who was in prison, FaceTiming the team.
So you're proud of the team? So you're proud of Solanke, Tell?
No, I'm proud of the achievement. I'm proud of the achievement, man.
Right, and this is what I'm saying. So why can't you stick to? This is what I'm saying still, right?
That's the emotion.
So why can't you stick to what we've been saying, right? With what we want for Tottenham Hotspur, we want great players, we want a proper strategy.
But that's down to Levy.
Get us compete.
That's down to Levy, the players, isn't it? The top players.
Yeah,
but this is an Ange conversation. We haven't gone on to Levy. We're talking about Ange.
I know, but you're placing your faith in Ange like he was the guiding light, and I don't think he really was. I think I think there's a large element of luck in this.
Poch starts Kane in the final, he shouldn't. He starts Son at left back when he shouldn't.
But
Mourinho
that's not why
bottles a
we lost
2-0
that
lead
game.
when the manager's in prison.
That's not why we lost that game, though. We lost the game because Sissoko got done.
Dropping Lucas Moura had a massive impact on that game, Maz. I think
But
we've had
10 minutes in,
okay.
Sissoko got sent off.
All right, Maz.
So
Can I ask you something?
We
Can I ask
can
you something
debate
still?
that. But yeah, go on.
Just to ask you
I want to
something.
get Iggy in as well because Iggy hasn't spoken. But yeah, go on.
Yeah, that's fine. I'll ask this question of you, and then Iggy can go. Right?
Yeah.
Your opinion's your opinion, right? And that's all it is. As far as I'm concerned, this doesn't matter until Tottenham decide what they want to do. It's just our opinions. That's great. But do you honestly, deep down, do you believe those last 3 games and the outcomes of those games was an Ange masterclass? Or was that someone throwing their philosophy out the window to save their own arse? Because I'll tell you what my opinion is, and it's not the former.
I think it's someone that knows how to get it over the line under this ownership when the others couldn't. That's what I think.
Even though he said in his own words, it's who we are, mate. We don't change our philosophy.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Okay.
So
he waffles out of his own arsehole then, basically.
Absolutely. Just like I've changed my view, and I think he deserves the start of the season. I think Ange realised, do you know what? If I don't,
but we know you waffle.
So still, if we sign,
fair enough.
I'm joking.
I know you're waffling. I'm not waffling. I know you're joking. But what I'm saying is, he's got the thing is, hold on, guys. He's got a history of this, and we all diminished his history because fucking Japan, Australia, Scotland, shut up. He comes here and he goes, I don't usually win. I always win. The coldest flex of any manager in Premier League history. Mike dropped it when he won it. And the first thing he said up on the stage when he got up there in the parade, I told you, mate. Yeah, you did fucking tell me. You did.
He's
a winner. Guys, he's a winner. This is what a winner does. I think
so if he signs Tell, right? If he signs Tell for the second time, right? Yeah. Is that not a Timo Werner moment? Are you
say that again, Maz? I didn't hear it.
If he signs Tell for the second time, right?
Yeah.
Is that not another Timo Werner moment?
If he signs Tell, then it's a massive problem because Ange said that we must now sign experienced players. So if we go and sign Tell, that goes against what he says. And in my opinion, it will unravel next season, and he'll be.
So when Ange said our front 3 aren't good enough, right, in his first season, and then he brings in Dominic Solanke and signs Timo Werner twice. Do you have much faith that what he said about signing experienced players is actually going to come true?
All right, Maz, to be clear on this, I blame Ange because he's signed off on those players. Right? Any manager, any player that comes in this club. Our manager has accepted it, right? However, I don't believe the club went and sourced the best possible options for those positions. And it's either take this or nothing, which is what we saw with Danjuma's, Longlay's, and all the shit we've seen in the past. But I blame him because he accepted it. So I want to make that clear. So it is on him, but our club isn't doing what it's supposed to do to fucking help our managers. And we've seen this time and time again. Time and time again we see this. Danjuma, Longley, Nkudu, NG, Janssen, all this shit. It always happens. And it's happened to him as well. But he accepted it.
Before Iggy goes, I will say this. Didn't he promise a title challenge this season? So he's not always on the money because he was sure way off. 17 is not challenging for the league title. He did.
So you upset then, Maury? Is he upset you then because we've only won the EUROPA?
I'm just saying, if he's always shooting a shot and he's making it, he sure promised that we will challenge in the second season the title. Then waffles always so hard to focus on the Europa and the league.
Maury, do you think Maury? Forget. Okay, Maury. Okay, now fair play. Let me just push back on that, and Iggy has to come in at some point, right? I want to push back on that. Do you honestly believe? Forget being higher up in the league, being 10th, 8th. Do you honestly think, with the injuries we had, we could have had a serious title challenge this season? Higher up in the league, yes. I'm talking about title challenge. Do you believe that?
It came out of his mouth.
But I'm saying to you, with all the injuries we had in that period, do you think we could have sustained a title challenge? Do you think so? I don't.
Well, if I believe him to be the Messiah, then I will believe that we will overcome all obstacles
to win the league title with all those injuries. No Van de Ven, no Romero, no Dogi, no Vicario, no Maddison.
Challenge.
You
so
think
we could finish second, third, or fourth?
Right. So you think we could have come second with all those injuries? I don't. Higher up the league, yes. We should have been 10th, 9th, yes. Challenge, no.
I didn't say it. He said
I know, but do you think those 12 injuries, whatever they were, some are his fault, by the way. I'm not going to defend him all the way. Some are his fault, but some aren't his fault. Some were freaks, like Vicario's injury. That was a freak. Bentancur's head, when he busted his head, it was a freak. Do you honestly think he could have challenged with the amount of injuries we had?
Arsenal had like 13, 14 injuries, and they were able to challenge.
And they won no trophies, Murray, as a result.
Bournemouth at the time was fifth. Bournemouth, who had more injuries at one time, was fifth, fourth.
What did Bournemouth win, Murray?
They did challenge.
Murray, they're not even in Europe next season. They flopped in the end.
But I'm talking about his promise. He says, "Oh, I'm going to challenge." He said it. I didn't say it.
But he also said he wins trophies in his second season, and he did it.
Yeah. So he's 50. He's 50%. He was 1 out of 2. I can't wait till next season.
All right, Murray. You know what? You're right. No. I'll tell you what. You're Murray. You're absolutely right. But I take that. I'll take that 50%. Me personally, I'll take it. For some fans, I know it's.
He's in, right? He's been sitting there for so long. How about you?
Evening.
Nice to meet you.
That's a nice clean beard you got there.
Nice to meet you.
Look, listen, I get it. You've just come back from Bilbao. I've heard what you've had to say. I've heard it on the other shows as well. Come back from Bilbao with this renowned love for the club, which is great, by the way, because these moments are saving. You've gone from staunch Ange out to Levy out, and I can see why you're getting a bit of backlash, to be honest, and I understand it because you've been so one way, and obviously this feels, to the outsiders at least, it's a bit reactionary from what you've experienced in Bilbao. And that's, listen, at the end of the day, I wouldn't, people might call it flip-flop, maybe, whatever, but people are allowed to also change their minds. I don't agree with people that can't change their mind or are scared to change their mind in case they get called flip-flops. That's not for me what it's about. But that's your opinion. And you're entitled to it, like many do. How we've got into Ange in, Ange out is very simple, because before that win, it was very much Ange was going to go at the end. Everyone was confident that Ange was going to go. And about 90% of the fans realised he just weren't good enough and he had to go. And that's what's happened. And obviously, what's tipped the balance back to like the 50-50, like you guys mentioned, is the win against Man United on Wednesday night. And that's what's now making everyone a bit, whoa, we've gone from 90% to 95%, possibly him leaving, which was what everyone wanted, to now 50-50. And that's what's thrown everything off. That's why nobody to 100% can enjoy that win on Wednesday, which they bloody should well do, because it's been a long time coming. And I said this, I was happy. I heard what Luba had to say earlier on. I was listening to it on the radio on the way home before coming. So I was hearing you guys in my ears. And what you said, enjoying it with your son out there. And I did the same at the stadium with my son. He had never seen Spurs win. So I'm truly thankful for that. And for that, I'll be eternally grateful for Ange Postecoglou for delivering something that a lot of managers have failed to do. And I can understand that point of view. But now that, the dust is settling a little bit, we as a club right now are in a position of power, in a sense that we've got Champions League football next season. We've got the money coming from the Champions League and competition going into that. We've got the money coming from winning the Europa as well as a trophy, so the fans are also happy now. We're in a position of power to go and get a manager out there that can take us to the next level, which is what is required, in my opinion. So I don't know who that manager can be. I don't know who's available right now. I don't believe, and I've seen nothing in the 2 years that he's been, 2.5 years, to make me think that Ange is that guy. I'll be honest with you. Whilst I'm very appreciative of what he's delivered, and he said he'd do it in the second year, he always wins. Fair play to the man. I've got no issues with that. I just don't think he's the man that can take us forward, especially now that the stakes have just gone higher. And like I said, we're in a position of power where we just enter in the competition of Champions League next season.
Yeah.
We are financially stable. We are Europa League winners. So everything right now, money wise, Champions League, next coming to the lane next season, European Europa League winners. So everything's in place right now to take the step. And I don't believe for a minute that Levy will accept the fact that we was 90 minutes away from going one way and 90 minutes away potentially going the other.
So why didn't he sack him then?
Let me just quickly.
The
The ramifications of us not winning that game against United would have been disastrous, guys. We would have been no Champions League football next season. Would have been no European football. Money would be hemorrhaging money for not doing either, for not winning the competition, and also for not making Champions League football. So from a club perspective, it would have been this. I think we're still minted enough to survive that. I just think it would have set us back 3 or 4 years had we not won the trophy. And I don't think Levy will put himself in a situation where he's going to gamble everything on 90 minutes of football. And that, for me, is what makes me think that Ange will go eventually. I think this is what's happening right now. No one's saying absolutely anything. There was a thank you for winning the trophy by Levy, but I don't think is totally convinced of confirming Ange Postecoglou this season. For me, it comes down to two things, and I said this yesterday. Paratici coming in, all right, assuming he's going to come in as a technical director, and he will decide if indeed it will be Ange Postecoglou, which I don't believe it will confirm him. But it also depends if he can get the man that he wants to bring at the club to take us to the next level forward, and that for me is what we need. I don't think that win in the Europa League, and I'll say it again, truly grateful for it. I don't think it's enough to overshadow the 2 and a bit years that he's been at a club, giving us what we've got. And we've said it many a times here, you know, tactically very inept, very stubborn. His press conferences before and after just been shocking. He's pissed off all of us at some point or another with everything that he's said. And I, in my mind at least, and I appreciate everyone can take a different take on it. In that 2 and a bit years, especially in the last sort of 6 months, just 8 months, he's done my head in. He's done my head in because I made up my mind about him, and I think I've been very vocal about this after that Man City game. And I said it, we won 4-0, and I said we played very well that day. We had a back four playing at back four, no inverted full backs and all of that. He managed to change it up. And as soon as he had players back available again, he resorted to going back to his old ways. And for me, that was very telling about him. And that's what I say it to now. I say that day. I said to you guys, I think I'll know more about him in the next 2 or 3 games. Is he taking anything out of that Man City game moving forwards, and he's learned from it, and he will adjust certain situations. Think, you know what, this worked. I'm gonna introduce that moving forwards. He didn't. He went back to his old ways, and for some reason in Europa, he changed it about. Against Man United, like you said, he stank it out. He played back four, no inverted fullback. So I don't understand these contrasting styles where he truly believes in those style and he's played his own way in the league, but yet he's managed to adjust it in when he said the lady wasn't for turning. So there's very contrast in that, and that for me, I can't go into next season on it's almost like I'm already gambling with another season to start. Now I understand he's brought us he's the only manager in 17 years has brought us a trophy at White Hart Lane, and like I said, I would truly for that night alone, isolated for that night alone, I will be truly grateful to him for that, because he's delivered something that no one else has. But having said that, on the balance of what I've seen for the last 2.5 years, I can't go into next season knowing that I could be seeing this all over again. I'm not saying we might get 17th again, because I have always said that this team and this squad is a Europa. They should be landing between 6th and 8th in the league.
Yeah.
6th and 8th in the league. This is where I see this team right now.
Iggy.
And also, lastly, I'll conclude, and then you guys can go ahead.
I'll give you the
I'll
chance.
conclude. So, let me finish. I'll conclude. My take, and I don't truly believe, I know everyone's the players. I'm going to go to the players now. Our best players, I don't think we can go another season the way we did in the league with these players. I think we will lose those players if we confirm Ange Postecoglou. Now, everyone's on a high, man, from Bilbao, and everyone's loving him right now. But to start a season with him, given the 2.5 years, if Romero goes, maybe we might. I don't know if Romero's going to go or not. And because I'm reading that he's really tight with Ange Postecoglou now. And I don't know if that's reaction of what happened on Wednesday night. I don't know, but we know that there've been problems with him and with Maddison during the season, and with Son. Do you guys remember the Leicester City game where Maddison's complaining to Son about the same play over and over again? So there's been issues. Yeah, there's been issues within the team that's clearly been masked about what's happened on Wednesday night. We need a manager now that can take us the next step. We are entering the Champions League. We're not going to be playing Ferencváros. We're not going to be playing as Alkmaar. We're not going to be playing Karabag. We're not going to be playing Galatasaray. We're not going to be playing Bodo Glimt. We're not going to be playing all these teams that we faced along the way in the Europa League. This is a different ball game, and for a different ball game, we need a manager to the level.
I just want to jump onto Iggy's point, and which goes to, and like I said, in regards to Daniel Levy, to give him the benefit of the doubt, if what Tom Barclay said yesterday and Dan Kilpatrick say reporting is true, he says Daniel Levy is thought to be undecided on Ange Postecoglou's future after a season of extremes. So you think about this, right? When someone automatically, the owner would say, "Thank you for winning this trophy. You're back this season," right? There's no question. There's no thought of, is he here? If he's not here. You hear these reports. He's seriously thinking about his future, because this was a season of extremes. 10 Premier League home losses. Daniel Levy, they do a cutout to him. He's sitting down like this. Even Sunday, this past game, he seemed very unhappy. He said that as we got our 10th loss and 22nd loss. The board, they're saying for months, the board is not happy in regards to Ange. So now, this week, they're taking the whole picture, right? Yes, there's the trophy, but we're still evaluating the season, because other than that trophy win, man, this season was shit. It was shit. So even then, there's no statement from Levy in the board saying, "Bam, that's our manager. We're getting ready to go to transfer window." There's still confusion. There's still, doubt. Is this guy our manager? And so that even tells you that the club hasn't fully said Ange is coming back, which goes to tell you that this season was really bad despite a trophy, because Crystal Palace, right? We know people are going to come after Glasner, but Crystal Palace is confident. Hey, we got our coach. Eddie Howe, Newcastle. Yeah. Eddie Howe's coming back next year, and so on. Whereas with us, we won a trophy. We're not sure. No one's sure.
Other than
is thinking.
Don't need to say anything.
So that tells that what. So that's
on a 4-year contract. Murray.
Yeah, he doesn't want to say anything. That's correct.
Murray, he's right. Can I come in here? Firstly, three things. Firstly, club don't have to say anything. He's on a 4-year contract. The club only say something if they're bringing that contract to a close. Otherwise, there's nothing. Otherwise, there's nothing to talk about. Murray, there's nothing. He's under contract. They're not going to come out and say, well, you think he might still be here, he might not be here. It doesn't work like that. They'll either come out.
Teams give a vote of confidence. I get what you're saying. Some clubs.
He's under contract. He's just won a trophy. He's come out and said Series 3 is better than Series 2. I think it was MASH. They all died, didn't they, in Series 3? But anyway. Second thing.
I think he's talking about modern day series, Lebo, not 1960s ones.
Okay. Second thing, in terms of
I'm joking. That was a joke.
In terms of Postecoglou, this is who we are, mate. The final, semi-final, and final was not who we are, mate. So he had to change because he's not stupid. He can see the losses building up, and he must have known he was fighting for his job. And the third thing I want to say, and the most important points, is regarding Postecoglou and whether people think he is the person to go forward or not. Let's strip emotion out of it. Take the emotion out. Let's just look at facts. We're talking about next season. He was dreadful in the league. The FA Cup, we went out, the first decent team we played. Did okay in the League Cup, but it was a surrender. Believe me, that was a surrender at Anfield. That wasn't Liverpool beating us because Liverpool that much better. We didn't even turn up. We got out the coach, we shit ourselves, and we just played for 90 minutes like complete strangers. So the one area that he was successful in was a second tier trophy, which the Europa League is. Let's be frank about it. Tier 1 is Champions League, Tier 2 is the Europa League. We're a Tier 2 club playing with Tier 2, playing against Tier 2 opposition, right? And I know Bodo Glimt, Frankfurt and Bilbao are going to be in the Champions League next year, and there's no reason why we wouldn't beat them next year, to be fair. But the standard is colossally, it is so much higher in the Champions League than it is in the Europa League. So does anybody seriously think, with the way he has been intransigent in the league, he's lost 34, strip out the first 10 games, when we won 8 and drew 2, and we caught everybody by surprise. Since then, since the Premier League's got to grips with how Postecoglou plays, we've lost 34 out of 66 games. We've got 78 points from those 66 games. I've been to most of those. It's been disastrous. The football is abysmal, right? It can't beat a low block. Teams break on us, right? We're all out of, you've got fullbacks playing as 10s. You've got Maddison having to drop back into midfield. It's a complete and utter shambles. You're asking Vicario to play like Messi. It's the whole thing's a joke. The whole thing's a joke. Vicario missed 3 months of the season. He's faced more shots than any other keeper in the Premier League. What does that tell you? And because he has changed his style and shithoused his way through 3 rounds, everybody's saying, "Oh, he's the future. Next season, this and that." I love Bilbao. Please, I'm not one of these killjoys, doom-mongers. I've had a most fantastic few days, and it's been wonderful to be a Spurs fan. The whole day in Bilbao was fantastic. But let's face it, I've come back down to earth now today. In fact, yesterday brought me back down with a bump, seeing how we were, because that's how we are in the league. And the league is how you judge your club. And if you want to build towards other trophies...
Sorry, say that again. The league? No, what did you say? The league? What did you say? The league?
Let me.
Can you repeat what you said? I didn't hear it. The league?
I'm coming on to your points.
No, Rubo, I'm asking you to repeat what you said. I didn't hear it.
I want to win trophies as much as you, but do you know what? Still,
Rubo, I didn't hear what you said. Repeat what you said. You said the league is what? The league is
really important. It's our bread and butter.
Right,
and the teams that normally win the trophies, and I want trophies as much as you still, because for me, and I repeat what I said at the beginning of the show, football, like life, is about memories and moments. And we've had hardly anything since Enoch took over, while all the other 5 clubs have had a most amazing 25 years. But if you're going to build towards trophies, You're not going to have a one-off. 17th place, please God, is a one-off for Tottenham Hotspur in the league. We're not going to have one-off seasons like this. The team's got to be built properly with a proper coach who can build and get the team playing like a Pochettino did, like a Redknapp did. But this time, going that one step further and winning a trophy. So full marks to Ange. He played it spot on with Frankfurt away. He played it spot on with Bodo, and he played it spot on with United. Although I think he was probably forced into a lot of the decisions because he had no creativity with Madison Coulomb, Bergvall out. So he played it the right way. He played it with the players that he has, and he shithoused the way he got the goal, and he said, "Right, now come and try and get a goal back," and they couldn't.
Do you think, Ian? Do you think Daniel Levy? No, hold on. Do you think Daniel Levy went to Ange and he said to him, Ange, I don't want you to play these players for this game. I want you to play players for another game, like I did to Jose.
Possibly.
And like he's done to... Do you see what I mean?
No, I don't think Levy did that. I don't think Levy did that.
Exactly, right? And this is why I think that we're at these crossroads, because...
But I don't think Levy told Mourinho to blow a 2-0 lead away to a manager who's in prison either.
No, but
so we pick the bits that suit the argument, and the other bits that counter the argument.
I also don't think that Jose was given the players he wanted either, and Ange got all the players he wanted.
You think Ange wanted Timo Werner? Do we really think that? Do we really believe Ange wanted? We think Ange said, "Go get me Timo Werner. That's the player I want."
I do actually. I believe it. Twice.
I don't think for 1 second.
Can I say something?
I believe he signed off on it. No, I believe he signed off on it.
Last season, your whole argument last season, this season, right? Yeah. You went on. You went on.
If you sign off on it, that means you're okay with it,
right?
Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
If you signed off on it, but what I'm saying is, it might not have been in his idea, but once you sign off on it, that means you're in agreement with it.
Still,
it means that's the best of what you're offering.
You went ballistic.
The best of what you're offering.
That we signed Timo Werner.
You don't know that.
No, I do know that.
Can I say? Hang on. If Ange doesn't want a player, still, if Ange doesn't want a player, he doesn't want the play. He doesn't have the play. He didn't want Eze.
Didn't want Eze, but he wanted Timo Werner.
The argument can be made for Timo Werner. The argument can be made for
I disagree with all of you on this. I disagree with all of you.
Hang on. Can I say something?
I disagree with all of you on this.
No, but the argument can be made at Timo Werner. But we can make the same argument for Jet Spence. Who's kept Jet Spence out for the last 3 months? And he's been one of our best players.
Did he play in the cup final?
No, he did play.
But
guys, can I say something before
Why?
I leave? Can I say
Why?
Because the team that won the game is the correct team because they won the game. That's what winners do. He won it.
Right. Just let Eugene say something before he leaves.
Yeah, it's 5 a.m. here in Malaysia, right? Guys, all right. Mari, to your answer about seeing Daniel Levy's face, being not happy, he has not shown any emotion ever since we won the cup. I think he's more worried now. You get what I'm saying? Right? He's going to pay Ange Postecoglou 2 million bonus. That's his first worry. Then when he sees nearly 250,000 people coming out to celebrate the cup, that even gives him more worries because now the fan base has tasted blood and they want more. That's all I can say, right? That's why Daniel Levy doesn't look, he never ever looks happy anyway, right? So I don't give a shit about him and I'm always be Levy out. This is just one trophy, right? And to come to the senses, right? When you guys are talking about Ange, right? Ange brought this bunch of players to the finals and won it. Ange gave them this winning mentality, guys. Remember, no matter what you want to talk about it, right? I'm with Stel. He brought this winning mentality to the squad.
Winning mentality.
Oh, that's the biggest load of shit
I've ever heard in
my life.
Yeah, but you're talking like we beat prime Barcelona.
We beat or didn't beat. Right, guys, it doesn't matter what.
You're more deluded than he is up there.
The manager you defend are all failures at this club. You're defending failures. What do you want to say? What did your boy Jose win? What did Mourinho win at Tottenham? What did he win? Nothing.
He didn't get a chance.
You make every excuse, right? We make every excuse for the failures at Tottenham, but the winners, Let's slam them.
Yeah,
That's why we win nothing. This is why we win nothing.
And then we went to that Roma, like Conte,
Hell,
but
man.
at
Conte
Napoli.
won nothing.
Like
Conte
Conte
won
was
nothing.
at Napoli.
Conte won nothing.
And you know,
Conte's a loser at Tottenham.
Can I
Conte's
finish,
a
guys?
loser.
One
Stell,
at a
stop
time.
it,
One at a
man.
time.
Can I
Oh.
finish?
Those that went
Iggy,
to that
Iggy, they
Roma.
won
man.
nothing.
Ari.
at Tottenham.
Conte went to that
Stell,
Roma.
I get it, but you.
What do you mean, Stell?
Ari,
Come on,
and
man.
I'm not going to. No,
let
I'm not going to agree with
Eugene
it.
finish because he's
I
going.
know Conte's a top manager, but he failed at Sheffield United away. I went to that game. I sat in the terraces and I watched us get bummed by Sheffield United. They're not even in our division. They did us over. And I'm sitting there thinking, how's he lost to Sheffield United? Yeah, when Ange beats the shit teams, look who he played. There are managers at this club that have had chances to win against crap teams to take us on. Iggy, I know it's a tough one. They failed. They failed when they had the easy chances.
That's what I'm saying.
It's a fact.
Ange
didn't. And we want to slam him.
Yeah, but they've lost. They failed at Spurs. They've gone elsewhere and they've won again.
Yeah,
Guys,
which is why I said Ange is a winner under this regime.
Ange nearly got us relegated though.
But we didn't get relegated. We didn't.
But he nearly did.
Well, I gotta say
We
this.
didn't.
So are you willing to gamble it then? Okay, no, that's fine. I hear your point. He didn't. But are you willing to gamble that every season?
I think last season was an anomaly. We won't finish 17th next year. I don't believe that for 1 second. I don't.
But are you willing to gamble it? That's my
It's
question.
not a gamble. I don't think it happened. I don't think we come close to 17th next year.
Levy allowed him to gamble it this season, right?
Because he had to win the Europa. Because he had to win the Europa. He had
So
to.
Levy allowed him to win the Europa and gamble the season away, but he didn't allow the other managers to do the same. Because if they did it, if they went all out just for the cups and rested the players through the league, they would have been, well, they were sacked on
But
site.
the others got us top four, Maz. So it was okay. They got us top four. Conte got top four. Poch got top four.
Not Eugene. See you later, mate.
I'm keeping every receipt, Nomadic. I'm keeping every receipt. I just want to say this.
Mari, let Eugene finish and he can leave.
This is
Yeah,
a
can I
just want to say
finish
this
this,
record.
please, can I finish my thing?
Finish.
I'll go, guys. Right?
Guys, man, come on, man.
It's 7 o'clock in the morning,
patient,
and
man.
we're still arguing this, right? Guys, I know we've been shit, right? That's why I've been trying to tell you guys, we've been shit. I've been saying we've been shit the whole season. I've been saying we've been shit since last season. We've been shit. But to me, is that it doesn't matter, right? We crossed the line. We got the trophy. It's 17 years. Why can't we enjoy it? Why can't we savor it, right? Instead of getting each other's head like this now. Ange in, Ange out. All I can say is, right, I'm going to say this very weirdly, right? Because I think yesterday on Dan's show, right, Mia, we all know Mia, right? Remember Mia? She came on and she said something that hit me, right? He has brought this group of players, right, and brought them a winning mentality. They are all overjoyed now, right? The only thing is that if we sacked him, right, what will that tell the players? Yes or no? That's what I'm saying, right? But whatever
It depends who
happens
follows
now, right? Right? Yeah. Whatever it is, you can say, Danny, you can say whatever, emotion and all that. Tell me, happiness is an emotion. Are you guys not happy that we won a trophy?
But that's not the
In the
discussion.
chat. Are you guys
Eugene,
telling
Eugene,
me?
we've been over this, bro. We've been over this. It's what you said. Past it.
I think the question is.
We're not allowed to be happy with it anymore. We're past that. It's a civil war now. This is where we're at.
Yeah, that's why.
Everyone-
Not for me.
We're
I'm
not going to
calm,
go
man.
back.
All I'm going to say is like this, right, guys? Guys, all I'm going to say is this, right?
What
We are
civil war?
champions. That's all. We are champions now. Savor
I'm
it.
calm,
Go out
man.
there, right? Let's go out there, right?
Eugene,
And
I think you should go to bed, mate. Your
If
delusion
I
about
can
this winning
summarise-
mentality
if I can
thing. I
summarise
think you
really,
should go to
really,
sleep.
really
mate.
quickly.
I'm going to go,
Hold on.
right?
Hold on, Maz.
Thanks for having me on, guys. Right, all you guys in Tottenham Way, Lubo, right? We've been doing this for 5 years, Stel, you know? And I'm going to give a big shout out to Will Stewart, Guguma, right? All the people that we've done when we're in OG set, even Lisa, right? Who was in Mexico, right? And there are so many of us. Dan, the Yid kid, guys, remember? Daniel, the Yid kid, right? All these people, right? I feel that we should be celebrating with these people that we've not seen in such a long time, right? You can say I'm emotional or whatever, but all I can say is that I'm sad now because what I see in
After all that, let's be happy. I'm sad.
I'm sad. No, I'm sad. You know why? Because I'm doing all this.
That's an Ange move right there. That's an Ange move right there.
I'm sad now, right? Because it's like being up there and seeing all this bring me down. That's all.
Then stay off it.
But this is it. I don't know why
People like Maz will do that to you, mate.
See you later, Eugene. Go on.
I love you guys, right?
Let me
Eugene, come on, mate. Like you're wanting to go, and it's the longest goodbye we've ever bloody seen.
No, don't you know us, Maz? We always say the longest goodbye. We've always been doing this for so long throughout the years, right? You remember when we end, whenever we say we're going to end the show, right?
I wish I never said anything. Now it's carrying on.
Yeah, I'm going to carry on. But guys, right, don't forget, subscribe to Tottenham Away, right? Smash the likes, right? And don't forget to subscribe to Spurs Vision TV too, right? Guys, love you all, guys. All I can say is that we are champions, guys. Just remember that we are champions. We have a trophy. That's all I want to feel now, all right? Take care, everyone. Good night.
God bless. Have a good one. Make sure you subscribe to Gene's
summary. Right?
Record.
I think everyone is really happy the fact that we won a cup.
I don't know about that.
I think everyone is. I think everyone agrees.
Unhappy we won.
No, I think everyone's happy. They just don't agree that Ange is the person to take us forward.
Yeah. Thank you, JP.
I've seen a lot of YouTubers not smile once. I've seen a lot of YouTubers not smile once.
Let the Illmatics on the chat understand that we are happy. We just don't think he's the man to go forward. But I'm keeping receipts. I just want to quickly say this. This is a record I don't think that would never be broken. We won a trophy, but check this out. Tottenham are the first side in top flight history to lose 22 games in the 38-game season.
Who cares?
And not be relegated.
Who cares, Murray? Who cares? Who cares, people? What are we doing? Who cares? We're in Europe again. We've won a trophy, bro. I don't understand why we care about this. Why do we care about 17?
I'm just mentioning for going forward.
You mentioned it for a reason.
No, but
right?
still,
because going forward, because going forward, I don't want to see that crap again. Like I don't want to see not the trophy, but in regards to our bread and butter.
Who cares if we win a trophy, then, Murray? If we win a trophy, who cares? That's my point.
No,
do you know what? I'm gonna.
I just don't think that's.
I don't get it.
Do you know what, Murray? Let me say this. Sorry, Lee, Lee wanted to say something. Sorry, mate. Sorry.
Let Lee say something.
Let Lee say something. And I said it yesterday.
I'll come back to that.
I said it yesterday jokingly.
I'll come back to that.
That with the pods, we did the pods, right? Unless it's a line where we play, because Golden Glit is playing Champions League, Frankfurt is playing Champions League. You know, we get an easy path like we had. You know what I'm saying? We finished 10th next season.
And we will shit on that as well if it happens. We'll shit on that too.
I'll take it. If the stars align again in the Champions League, like the Europa League,
then I'll take this one.
Murray, I'll answer that. I'll let Lee say what he's got to say. I will answer that in another way.
Iggy, sorry, Chris, one thing before we go. Lee, sorry. No,
here we.
No. I'm not going to make a comment. I'm not going to talk about Spurs. That's important. Sorry, Lee. People in the chat, if you can't be respectful, honestly, just switch it off. Go make a cup of tea. Come back in 5 minutes. The ridiculous slander, the comments being thrown, not just at me, but others that aren't even here to defend themselves. Calm it down.
Yeah, chill, man.
We'll just go back to the echo chamber and all agree like a bunch of happy, yay, we're all together. We're giving you a good discussion here, right? Please be respectful.
Guys, this is just a debate, man. It's nothing personal. There's nothing. We've known each other for a long time, so it's not.
It's just getting a bit stupid in the chat, man.
Okay, let's hear from Lee. Come on, Lee. Talk to me, Lee.
Lee, say something, man.
Are we all ready? Are we all ready? Because
drum roll.
I've got a question for you all, right? I don't give a shit about people's opinions. Stel can have his opinion, blah, 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 whatever.
Thanks.
I've got a question for you, though, and I don't think this has been asked, right?
I'll mute him.
Shut up, you bald-headed twat. Anyway, that could be for all of you. I've got a question for you that hasn't been answered. I don't think it's even been asked, right? And this is a really important question.
Yeah.
In Ange's speech, and Ange's after match speech, he said that they willingly threw the league, right, to focus on Europa. And before I let you answer, let me finish the question because there's two parts to it. A, do you think that that's the first time Daniel Levy was hearing that bit of information? And I asked that because based on the fact that knowingly throwing that league potentially lost us anywhere between 15 and 20 million in merit payments in our league position for a 5 million win in the Europa, do you really think that that's what actually happened? Because knowing Levy, I don't think that is the case at all. I think he would put money before potentially winning a trophy, because we're talking from back in January. What's your thoughts on that? Because
25 years will back that. He's always chosen money over.
I couldn't see him sitting there in a conference room in January going, don't worry about the league. Let's not worry about those merit payments and let's just go for something we haven't won yet.
No way.
I mean, I'm on the fence with that one, so I'll let you have a go.
Do you want the financial answer to that?
Well, I know what that is.
Yeah, the difference between last season's 5th place and this season's 17th place, based on the extra money paid this season by the Premier League to the clubs per position, at 3.1 million per position, the difference between 5th and 17th is 37.2 million. Spurs won 29.75 million for the UEFA Cup. So the loss wiped out, the league merit loss has wiped out our entire winnings for the Europa League. So
this is
I'm
why
sure.
I'm not convinced. This is why I'm not convinced.
And Iggy would have lost. Can you imagine? And I've said this on here before. Can you imagine the conversation that Levy would have had with Joe Lewis? Well, I gave the fans what they wanted. I kept Ange on, but you know what? We've lost between 50 and 70 million Champions League money, and we've lost another 37 million compared to last season. So between 80 and 100.
We get 30 million for the Super Cup. Can you add that?
No, but still, that's wiped out with a loss between 5th and 17th place. That's gone.
But this is why I'm not convinced.
I don't believe
Levy. This is why I'm not convinced that Levy is going to confirm Postecoglou.
It's another end story.
Yeah, but the only contrasting, the only.
So why didn't he sack him then?
Right. This is what I'm thinking, guys. It's just a thought. This is why I don't think Levy's totally sold on confirming Postecoglou, but he's also very wise to see that he had 250,000 people turn up at White Hart Lane to celebrate the victory, and that could piss off a lot of fans if he does get rid of him. And that's where the reflection time is happening right now. In my opinion, that's what, and I do think that Paratici will have a say in whether he stays or goes. And I think all of these conversations will be having behind the scenes as to whether he will stay or not, because it would be the easiest thing to come out and say that Postecoglou, we could have squashed these with any of these talks saying Postecoglou will 100% be our manager for next season and moving forward. It could have done that. But this is where I'm think, given the reason you just said, Ian, is where I think is where it's all happening.
The only reason I believe the only reason the two reasons that I believe that Levy stuck with Postecoglou. Number one, Postecoglou had Munn's back, looking after him, and secondly, we could see very quickly that we weren't going anywhere in the league, and the Europa League was the only chance of getting into the Champions League.
But we literally had to wait to the final 90 minutes to really know if we were going to be in a position of power, which thankfully we are today, or we would have set us back another 2 or 3 years, because I don't know, he would have gone. He would have been sacked 100%. And also, whoever came in had to pick up a team who finished 17th, no Europe, and so forth and so forth. So that's the balance. But to answer Mari's question, where we've been in a position where we've done a lot better in the league. We've been in a lot of position where we've been close to winning something, but we've failed. And I don't remember anyone talking about, we had a great team in 2019. We've had better teams than this one here right now. But
I think Poch's team would have pissed this competition.
Of course.
Absolutely pissed it.
what
Portchester moved to Colchester in the Carabao Cup.
after every
Shut up.
season, yeah, but that's like that
Sorry
was
for the facts.
he completely
Ange's team lost to
he
Fulham.
didn't play anyone in that 11.
Lost to Genk and Ghent in the Champions League, and we crashed
Yeah, but
out.
what I'm saying though,
If you interrupt
What I'm
Iggy
saying-
again,
Sorry for the
You're
facts. Sorry.
no,
for the
what
facts.
I'm saying is
Sorry.
the reason why, because we had this thing where we snubbed those competitions, sadly, and I think he should have not snubbed
That's a
them. He should
loser,
have
isn't it, Iggy? That's a loser.
No, I think he was under instructions
That's a
by the
loser.
club to prioritise the Champions League
Oh,
and the league. In my opinion, that's what happened. That and the fact that he was playing the players who we eventually did go and end up playing against Colchester. We didn't hardly field anyone that night against Colchester. Although any team he should have fielded should have beaten Colchester. It's just that
Colchester
we
were
went.
50
Hang
losses
on.
below.
We always went with the mentality of snubbing the FA Cup and Carabao. We never ever took those competitions seriously, and it filtered to the players to not. Yeah, of course it was. It always filtered into the teams to not take it seriously, and that's why our approach to those competitions was always flawed. In the same way, we completely fucked the FA Cup. I think we really should have had a really good opportunity of winning the FA Cup this year and the Carabao. We had a really good opportunity in those competitions to do certainly better than what we actually did. But having said that, Mari, what I was saying to you earlier on, I said I'll come back to you on that, is that we've had better teams. We prioritise Champions League. We prioritise the league table. But at the end of every season, what was the butt of all jokes from every fan in England?
1-0.
Tottenham win. What did Tottenham win? Do you get a trophy for that, mate?
Person.
Do you get a trophy for that 50 minutes? Do you get a trophy for being financially stable? Do you get a trophy for having the best stadium in the world, or the best training facility in the world? What's the point of having this massive stadium, massive training ground, and not bringing in silverware? This year, that shit has stopped. That shit has stopped. There are no more butt jokes about not winning the trophy. We've landed that.
But we
What
finished
I
17.
want now, and I'm
finished
thankful,
17.
and I'll say it again. No, I don't care. I have said it many times here. I would trade off a one-off season. If someone said to me, you have to take 17th place and win a trophy, I'll take that. I said it. I've said that. I've
Why
said
are
it
you
because
laughing
I'm
at the
starved.
question?
I'm starved of a
Iggy,
trophy that I would have taken 17th place in order to achieve it. Now,
that's
hang on. Now that we are here, now that we are here today, we are here, Europa League winners. Let's say European winners,
Let's kick
Europa League winners. Now we're in a position of power. I don't know. I don't know right now if tomorrow we're going to be in this position that we're in a strong position now, financially strong, European Champions League qualification. We've got the enthusiasm of the fans, enthusiasm of the team. Would we disrupt that by getting rid of a manager who's just won us a trophy? I don't know, guys, but I'm telling you now that we can go and get a manager right now, pay him the 10, 15, 20 million a year, and say, do you know what? Next year we want to do better. Stell might say we can do that maybe with Ange Postecoglou. You're right. But it's for me, mate, I'll be honest with you. For me, it's a gamble, man. It's a massive gamble.
What do you mean better? What's better?
What
Champions League?
Winning the Champions League at the first attempt or this has a lot to do to try and achieve.
What is better, guys?
What is better is winning.
It's winning Europa again next year. We're not winning Europa again.
No one can hear everyone talking at the same time.
100% agree with Iggy. That's how I feel.
What is better? Answer the question. What is better?
I'm gonna answer that, but I 100% agree with Iggy. That's why I celebrated. I loved it. I cried getting this trophy. Now I'm sobered. I'm like,
what is better, Mari? What is better?
Right,
outside of Arsenal.
Now I want to kick on. I want to kick on.
What does that mean? What does it look like?
You guys know the thing that might get me streaking naked is winning this league, and now I want to kick on to get to that point.
Right. Well, I don't believe.
But
so you think by changing manager we win the Premier League?
I'll tell you what is better.
The thing is, I don't believe. Listen. I don't believe that this is the manager to get us kick
better
off.
For me. Still,
I think this is a
Mari. You have to let people come in, dude. You have to let people come in.
Yeah, I'm just finishing. Yeah. I just believe that this manager is a stopgap, right? Thank you for the trophy. Now we move on to and better things with a coach that I feel that could do better than the league, and also at the same time bring us more trophies.
Right, Murray. Right. Oh, right. No. Hold that thought.
For
1
me-
second. Hold that thought. Iggy, hold on. What manager in the history of Tottenham under Daniel Levy has done top 6 and won a trophy? Take your time.
No one. Very easy answer to that.
Exactly.
Nobody.
So it doesn't matter if you change the manager. If
But
you
does
want
that mean
that, hold on,
should
hear me out.
aspire?
Hear me out. I'm going to explain to you. If you want what you described as progress, which is top 6 and a trophy, then it's not the manager that is the biggest issue. It's the board investing in quality players to have a squad that can compete on all fronts. So this isn't about the manager. This is about Levy. If you want your description of progress,
it's
I'm just saying
apart.
that.
It's apart. It's have
The manager doesn't
Daniel
matter.
Levy is also
Because we've
have
never done it under
manager
Levy.
and
We've
manager
either done really well in the league and won nothing, or we win
Okay, then
something.
the problem is
and
no
win
longer the
nothing.
manager. The problem is the club.
The other piece of the pie is
Iggy, and that's my point.
they
So all
can't
this
handle
hate on
the
Ange right now. Oh, Ange has got to
I'm
go
not
so that we
hating on
can.
Ange, man. I'm not hating him.
No, okay, I take the word hate back, but I heard this on Savage channel and Dan's channel, and when I point the finger at them and ask the question, I'm sorry, they've yet to give me an answer
For
that
me,
can be backed
okay,
up.
for me,
You
I'll
cannot get
answer it.
top 6 and win a trophy at Tottenham under this ownership unless the ownership changes its behaviour in the
Right,
transfer
the
market
ownership,
and the wage
the
bill.
ownership,
And the wage bill.
the ownership, the ownership to change has to have a 3-year plan, because that's where I'm at with it. A 3-year plan. The first year will be to
Another
make
process.
top 4.
Another
No,
process.
no, it's not a process. If you want to listen to what I've got to say, I'll say it, and then you can disagree or agree. No problem at all. It has to be a 3-year plan. The first year plan is to make the top 4, because outside of Arsenal, Man City, and Liverpool, yeah, you got the Chelsea, Newcastle. Who's the other one? Chelsea, Newcastle. Help me out, guys.
Palace.
We should be pushing for that top, for the 4th. So we should be amongst the other, outside of those 3, because we're not on the level of Arsenal, we're not on the level of Man City, and we're not on the level with Liverpool. Those 3 guys, those 3 teams are ahead of us. So for me, the first year should always be pushing to qualify for Champions League every season. That's the first aim. The second aim also to be trying to do a lot better domestically. We should be pushing heaven on earth to try and win the FA Cup and Carabao Cup every year, not once, every year, to prioritize. If you have to gamble on losing a league game because you've got an important FA Cup game or important Carabao Cup game, you should do that.
How do you do that without breaking the wage structure at this club and investing in quality and quantity?
That's my next point.
How do we get
getting there? If you let me finish, I'll get there. Otherwise, carry on. The third point has to be
point number 1, Iggy. Should have been point number 1. Sorry.
No. You're telling me what the aim, what is the aim should be. I'm telling you what the aim should be. Then, if we do it or not, because the Levy doesn't believe in doing it, or anyone else, or the manager's not good enough, whatever, that's another conversation. The point is, we should be trying to close the gap on the 3 teams that are above us: Liverpool, Man City, and Arsenal. Those are the 3 top teams in this country right now. Okay, we should be. If Newcastle can end up there and Chelsea can end up there, we should be in that mix. That's the first aim, is to close the gap on that. And the way you do that, you get a fucking manager with bollocks and say, right, and he comes in and say, I need 3 top players that will elevate us. If you tell me right now, say, look, take out Sarr, bring in. Let me finish.
He got told to fuck off,
okay.
Iggy. Doesn't work.
but then it's the club that's the issue. It doesn't matter what manager you put in.
The
club,
exactly.
but
not the manager.
the ambition,
my point. It's not
the ambition comes from the club. The only way, 3 top players. If you said to me right now, who does? I say, do you know what? If I saw a club like Tottenham say, do you know what? Move Sarr on, get Tonali in. Move Solanke on and go and get me the next Harry Kane. At the back, you can bring another top player and you bring leaders, because we have seriously lacked in leadership in this team. We lack leadership, and we lack in some cases. This is why I put a manager in it. In some games, we have generally lacked the approach to even compete in that match, even against teams that are better than us. We've gone to Liverpool. Ian mentioned it earlier. We went to Liverpool and shut our pants. We need to go to certain venues and show character and the approach. We were 2-0 up against Brighton, lost to them 3-2. We have lucked balls in some situation. That for me is a mentality that the manager should be instilling in his players to then go and do that. So for me, the mentality of the club has to change and say, you know what, from this season, we're in the position of power, and next season we're going to do the real big deal. We should have moved for the likes of the Xavi Alonso's, up and coming manager, exciting managers that have got appeal as well, that can bring in players. Bad boy players is what we require. Can we really get them with this manager right now? Does Spurs have the ambition? Now, Levy is should be absolutely killing it this summer, because we've just fresh Champions League football. We could really kick on with that. But if you don't get the intent out early, you ain't gonna sell the dream, man. You ain't gonna sell. So if we're gonna do the same old, I agree with what you're saying. Still, at this point, if we're gonna go with the same old, Levy's not gonna do fuck all. We're not gonna maximize in this potential, the power position that we find ourselves in. Fucking keep Ange. At least, maybe we've got a chance to win another trophy. Maybe. I understand what you're saying. Because you don't believe in the management, as in the structure of the club.
No, I believe. God, someone else speak, because I've got so much to say. Let me say. Someone else speak. Lee's got his hand up.
Lee, go on. You go.
I've got a question for you.
What, another one?
For who?
For Stel, actually. So Stel, I completely get what you're saying in relation to, no other manager's done top 4 and a cup, blah blah blah, etc.
Top 6,
but
top 6,
or top 6, yeah, top 6, absolutely. What and you're where you're coming from with this is that it's the club, they're not bringing in players, etc. And again, I get that, I completely get that. What I don't understand is that we say we've been saying for a long time he's tactically inept, etc.
Yep.
What if Daniel Levy was to bring in, I'll be really conservative, 3 top players, right? And you're saying that's what's required to get to that level.
A bit more than 3, but yeah.
You get one, me. I'm being conservative, but saying that to potentially do that top 6 and maybe an FA Cup or something of that nature, because it ain't going to be the Champions League or Premier League. Why is it now, from your perspective, though, that if that was to happen, because that's the bit that's missing, that Ange is the person to stay and have a go at that? Because I'll bit my receipts out here. Everyone loves receipts. We have said collectively that it's his tactics, but if we're saying now it's because the club are not buying those, ready players, well, it can't be both. It can't be because we haven't got the players, because then we're saying that the players we've got can't play his system, when we all think it's actually the tactics, it's not the players. You could put anyone in those particular roles in the way that he plays, and everyone looks bad because he doesn't buy players for their individual brilliance. He buys players like tools to do a particular job, which doesn't really work. And I think the biggest person that we've seen not been a failure of that, but has been singled out is Maddison, right? We always keep going on. He's our most creative player. Yet he's the person that Ange has pulled off that park more times than anyone, and it makes no logical sense. So, do you really think, in your heart of hearts, that if the club did push on, if they did get conservatively 3 ready-made, good players, that Ange could then almost coach them? Because we've been saying all year that he's not a coach. So what? It can't be both things.
Right.
Do you get what I mean?
Yeah, I totally get it. So, 3 things. Number 1, because it's part of the conversation. When I said if Timo Werner signs for a second time under this manager, I'm Ange out, it's because Antonio Conte did not want Jed Spence, and he went public about it. It's a club signing, it's their choice. He was forced to accept it. And the issue I had with that is, so then don't accept it, Conte. Walk or call out the board. Instead, he mildly called them out and then got on with it. So when I saw the same thing happening with Timo, for me, if Ange accepts this guy again, because that's what the club want to do, because this is what our club does, then I've got a massive problem with Ange, because when Ange came to Spurs, he said, I know what it's like here. I know what I'm getting myself into. So then this is going to happen. You better stand up and stop it. When he accepted it, he chose the same poison that Conte chose, That's why I said, right, Ange, you're a yes man. Out. That's why I said it. I never said he chose Timo. I explained at the time he chose the same pattern of behavior from this club that Conte accepted as well, and Poch and everyone else. That's why I said it. I don't believe for 1 second he chose Timo, not for 1 second. And go back, and that's what I said. Number two, I don't believe Ange is tactically on point. I don't believe Ange has developed any player other than maybe Johnson at back post tap-ins and Bergvall, who improved this season. Everyone else, I don't think they've improved. I don't. So I totally agree with you. However, despite all that, he did the one thing no manager could do in this club. And that was to say, I'm a winner, there you go. And he did it. And I never thought he would do it. I never thought he had it in him.
You didn't answer my question. You are literally covering over, because you know the answer is it doesn't matter how many players we get in, we will not push on because his players are crap. His tactics are crap.
Let me get there. I'm agreeing. I don't think he's a good coach, and I do think tactically he's inept, but he still found a way to win in that space. So for me, I
don't want him to find a way. I want him to be consistently win. You're not answering it. You are literally flopping over there. Flip flop.
When you're ready to let me finish it, I'll do it.
Go on then. Go on.
Right. If you give him good players, I believe he will find a way to win. I believe he will find a way. I believe that now.
So all the tactical, all the shows we did about his tactics are crap or anything. It's not the tactics, crap. It's the players.
They are still crap. No, it is his tactics.
Okay.
But I think he will find a way.
Even though this is where we differ on Ange. Hold on, Maz, one second. This is where me and you differ on Ange. Then I don't have faith that he will change absolutely anything next season. I think he will go back to his old ways, because I had this same conversation at the end of season 1, and we said, let's see how he gets on. Hopefully he will adapt, and he didn't. My opinion, and this is the only opinion I'm going to give, and I've already given to it. Yeah, exactly. When his back was to the wall, he came out scratching. That's not the type of manager I want in the Premier League.
When it came to winning a trophy, he adapted. Yeah. When Conte was here,
he could have done that in the 60th, 40th, 50th minute of any of the Premier League games with Ben Davies and Danso at the back. He could have done that, and he chose not to.
When Conte was manager, we all had shows every single week, right? Why should Conte change his system, give him better players? When all the other channels were attacking us, all of them saying, Conte's stubborn, his tactics are turgid, they called it. He's a dinosaur. Yeah. We said, no, don't blame his tactics. It's the lack of quality things. Now, hold on. Now, the same has to apply. We're now saying he can't change his tactics, but he won a trophy, this guy. I think he will adapt it.
No, but I do believe circumstances are different.
I hope he does. Listen, if he stays, I hope he does. I really do hope he does, because if he doesn't, I'm checked out.
If he doesn't adapt, we'll get sacked.
And wasted a summer transfer window on it.
And if the players are quality, it's not wasted, because then the new manager.
No, because you're not comparing apples to apples still, right? This is the whole problem with your argument. You're not comparing apples to apples. You're just doing the binary. He's won a trophy, therefore all of his sins are wiped away, right?
He did it when
Jose Pochettino, right, and Conte were trying to build sustainable elite teams to compete with the champions of the division. That's what they are. They're winners.
Longley and Danjuma
about. Right, we know why that's the case, because of Levy and the board, right? They haven't changed.
Why didn't Timo about the board then?
That is about the board. I've never said it's not. Don't try and shoehorn other arguments into what I'm saying.
No, because then it is the same. You're saying it's not the same, but then it's the same.
No, it's no. There would. Well, first things first, they were much higher up in the leagues than him, right? Consistently. Secondly. They were in the club for a lot lesser time than he was, right? And thirdly, their ambitions. Levy went to Jose and Mourinho, and he's like, "Take us to the next level. Let's try and win a title." Right? That's the only reason Jose or Conte would ever come. Right? That's what they do. They go to leagues to try and win titles.
We were 8th when
Ange never came in to try and win a title. right? Ange Levy got rid of all of his previous presidents and morals and allowed this guy to take us down to almost relegation, right? And gave him all the time in the world to try and win something, right? Which is something Levy's never done. So for you to keep saying these guys like Conte can't do it, Jose can't do it, Poch can't do it, their remits were completely different.
The players turned on Conte. They turned on Jose Maz.
Oh, so they turned on him like the players didn't turn on Ange this season, and they all believed in him.
I was
miraculously, the last 3 games of the season,
I was there.
And all of a sudden, they've turned up.
Were those players playing for Ange or not?
They were
Still,
yes, because they're in the final, and I'm sure.
Yes,
if you gave Jose or Conte a 16th place Man United, they would have done them over as well, easily. It wouldn't have been. It wouldn't even been a sweat for them to do them over.
Say that again. Didn't hear it.
If you put Jose or Conte into the run that Ange had
against
Dinamo
Zagreb,
no, this year's
Dinamo Zagreb.
There was one match. There was one match.
One match. If we lost to Frankfurt, we were
still, for Christ's sake.
What are you doing here? Look what you guys
stop this. Stop comparing Postecoglou to Conte and Mourinho. Postecoglou's down there, and those two are up there.
So why did he win a trophy and they didn't at Spurs?
No, forget it. Conte and Mourinho.
We forget it. It happens, Lupo.
They've won leagues in proper competitions.
Conte just won the league again, didn't he? Or just
Tottenham he didn't. Not at Tottenham he didn't.
Yeah, because they gave him the tools.
Not under Levy. Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
Do you feel that the club
under Levy, they did jack shit. All of them. All of them.
Not Jose.
So you think that Daniel Levy, this season, where he's slashed the wage bill by so much, he's going to go to Postecoglou? I'll tell you what, Ange. Here's another 30 million in the wages. Wait, let's add it back on. There you go. Let me buy you 3 or 4.
I don't trust Levy, no, Maz. I don't trust
Levy.
Exactly.
So why are you going to keep Ange? She's going to get us.
Why would you keep another manager? Why would you bring another manager who's not going to be backed?
Because they won't get us.
Because you need another manager who can coach these players to play better, not stick these players round holes, square pigeons. That's what we've been saying all year. And now we're not saying it's fine. I don't get it.
These players won a trophy. These players won a trophy with Angelo.
Yeah, not playing his style.
He's the one that changed it. But he's the one that changed it.
You see, I don't believe that. So no, Stel, I don't believe that because he came out himself. No. Wait a minute. He came out himself, and when we were all going, oh yeah, they're being a lot more pragmatic, blah 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 blah. He himself said, I didn't tell them to be pragmatic. They did that. They did that on the pitch. So no, he doesn't get credit for that because they told
him. They gave him the freedom to make their own choices. Everything he said,
exactly. So it isn't him. He hasn't done it.
Respect him for doing that. Respect him for doing that because it works.
So he's not a manager then, is he? He's not a coach. He's just some guy standing on the sideline with a badge on his jacket.
He's a winner. He's a winner.
Well, no, the players are winners. The players are winners.
Boys, JP's got to go. JP's got to go. Let him say something and then JP say what we've got to say, man.
I'm bombing out of here. Enjoy your chat. I've got an early start in the morning. Keep it going. Still,
JP.
That is JP. Love you, man.
Come back next week when that stuff's worn off, yeah?
Yeah. Do you know what, Stel? Do you know what? I was going to say this, yeah? I think we're as I'm talking a team now, not even managers and stuff like that. I think right now, if we can bring someone in that could play 5-3-2, 3-5-2, I think with 3 quality, I mean, talking about proper level players, I think we could make a massive jump, you know that. Because I think we're set up lovely. If we get another quality, I don't know if Danso's that guy, guys. I do like Danso. I will say that I like Danso. I just don't know if he's the level that I want to see alongside Romero and Van der Ven in the 3. Push Porro and Udogie as wing backs with 3 across the middle, be it Maddison, Bentancur, whoever you want, maybe another top midfielder. Like I said earlier, Tonali, Bruno Guimaraes, someone like that, just to really up the quality, technical quality in that midfield, because sometimes I do think we lack something technically. But as well as bringing someone with leadership, bro, and I think someone, I'm not saying Tonali, because I don't think Tonali is leaving Newcastle, but someone in that ilk that can bring something into that midfield. And then you can add another quality striker to partner maybe Solanke or even Sonny himself, however long he's there, because I think Sonny should come into the middle of the pitch and playing the two up front. I really feel that in a 3-5-2 or a 5-3-2, a manager that believes in that style with this current team, and also it wouldn't require massive investment because you've already got the players there. Don't forget we've got Dragusin as well. So I really think that if we just change the style a little bit and maybe not play like high up, drop like 10, 15 yards and allow Maddison the freedom to play in that three in midfield, I really think that we could do so much better. And that for me is how we should be playing in a 5-3-2 situation. I really do, because I think right now we have so many players that are not playing in their best position.
You know what you said. What you said is great, right? And I agree with, because you can see a path to that, and it's not a high risk path either.
No.
Whereas where the way the club is going by keeping Ange, right, and essentially not really, I don't think they're going to pivot towards buying more experienced players that we recognise and increasing the wage bill to do what Ange has suggested he's going to do. And because of that, going into next season, it then becomes again a gamble. It's a high risk situation, and this is why I get where Stell's coming from. I know that we've not agreed. I actually get where he's coming from. But the problem with what I've got with Stell is not what he thinks it is. My problem is that why are you going to gamble and make this into a high-risk situation where the likelihood is you're not going to win another cup next year? It's very, very unlikely. And it's very, very unlikely that we're going to buy the players needed to help Ange take that next step.
So it doesn't matter what manager you bring in as then.
It does matter. It does matter because
you just said it's unlikely we're going to back the manager. So what's the point?
No, because when you bring in other managers that actually have pedigree and gravitas, they influence the people above them more. Right now, I know that Jose and Conte and Poch accepted players in.
Hasn't Ange influenced Levy to not sack him and let him see out the season? Has he not influenced Levy?
That's a good point, and it may be Scott Marnie, maybe Flange, maybe all three of them have done that, right? You're right. That may be a factor.
So we don't need a manager to come in and do that.
But that influence, I think, has still made us finish 17th and lose records amounts of games. That influence has. Well, I care because all the players have regressed. So if you don't want us to get relegated next season, I would suggest
we won't get relegated. Can I ask you a question, Maz? I'll ask all of you a question and be honest now. By the way, let me do quick super chats. This question's important because we've got so many super chats. Sorry. Where is this? Stuart, big up to you. Evening, fellas. What an incredible night it was in Bilbao. So fortunate to have been there to experience it. Thanks, Stel, for the lift. Oh, Stuart, big up. Hitchhiker from Sassaban back, mate. Anytime, much appreciated, top man. You too, bro. John Cooper, 0 shots on target isn't a managerial masterclass. He's talking about the final. Jamie Allen said Jose lost to Europa to Dinamo with a 2-0 lead. Marlon Blade says following his conversation, enjoy Stell's hippie phase where he's all about peace and love, and fans should just hug and stop arguing. Let Guru Ange cook. Okay. Designated Hotspur says, LOL, proper waffling. Ange never said, I will challenge. Listen, I don't know about that. They bash him for not changing, and when he changes and wins a trophy, they complain as well. And finally, Ian JD, big up to you, bro. He says, Levy will keep Ange, bring in a load of free transfers to hedge his bets, just in case he has to sack Ange halfway through the season.
But
Probably.
that's not a way to plan for next season, man. Bringing a lot of free transfer in the event that you might have to get rid of the manager.
It's high risk.
Yeah.
It's high risk and gambling again. And this
I don't like that mindset, man.
the problem. The problem.
No, he's saying what he thinks Levy will do. He doesn't believe in it. It's what he thinks.
Yeah,
Levy
of course. Yeah. But I don't. It's the no. I'm not disagreeing with the lad that wrote in. I'm not saying that. It's the mindset that we are bringing in players on a free transfer in case Ange doesn't quite measure up, and therefore we can send all the players back. I mean, that's not the way to do it. We need to have a clear. I would look at this squad and say, do you know what? If I look at how can I impact this squad without overhauling it? You've got them. They've just maybe something has switched in them. Say they've liked the taste of the victory, and maybe
Iggy,
we can't go for Champions.
Iggy, you said it right there. Your statement. Sorry to interrupt you, guy. I know I'm not trying to be rude, right? But what's really keen, what you said is, how can we overhaul the squad or improve it, right? That is the problem, because he spent £400 million overhauling the squad over 2 years, right? Therefore, why should we be in this position where we need to overhaul the squad? But we are in that position. Therefore, by that logic, giving him another season, despite his successes and him achieving what he's achieved, is an even greater gamble, right, than actually bringing in a new manager with some pedigree in.
Arteta spent 800.
Right. But
so we should have been more to get the squad up to scratch, right?
I would have sacked him after his second season. So,
but he's challenging for cup competitions and he's finishing second. Isn't that what fans want at this club now? Isn't Arteta doing what you guys pretty much want?
Right, but we don't ever get to that sustained challenging, though, do we?
Well, fans who say that for us progression is, getting to finals, semi-finals, but at the same time challenging for the league. Well, Arteta's doing that. He's getting to semi-finals of Champions League and he's finishing second. He's doing what you guys are. Some fans are asking for, but he cost 800 million. So we need to spend another 500 million.
They're right to be aggrieved, though, because
they're doing what you guys want. Man, is my point. Forget their grievance. What you guys describe.
What I want. How about this? No. But the problem, and it's just what you're saying is the same problem as saying, "Oh, I'll take this league position in a trophy." Right? How about finishing second and then winning? How about wanting that instead? Or how about
who's done that other than Liverpool, Man City?
Okay,
like Ange, you can always be the first to do it.
I saw that question posed.
Then the board needs to change their behaviour. We'll go back to the board.
What about? When you say who's done that other than Liverpool, Man City, what about Chelsea? How many cups have they won?
Can I ask you my question, by the way? Because we did the super chats, and then I think, there's 2 more super chats. We did quickly. Big up, Ian. I agree, Iggy, but 25 years of Levy and Sanilla. Great debate as always. The most worrying thing about his victory is when we'll still take off the hat. It's Bill Palace, mate. Staying on.
Do you know what? I get that. I do understand that comment, because they're saying under this ownership, it's not going to happen. Everyone wants progression. Everyone wants to build on something bigger and better and improve and push on to the top 4. This is, by the way, all the stuff that I want, by the way, just to be clear. But they don't believe, and I probably don't believe it either, that under this ownership, it's going to happen. So why not just, we got nothing to lose in that sense. Why not just keep, but listen, if we were back in the Europa League next season, I'll say, do you know what? Fuck it. He has earned the right to at least defend that title. We're not in that Europa League, so we moved on to the Champions League, which we're not anywhere near equipped to even make a challenge or even a dent in it. All right, if we make it to the knockout stages and at best a quarterfinal, that's probably about as far as we can go. Quarterfinal would be a massive achievement with this current squad. In the league, can this team push on to be in the top 6, 7? I think that's where we should be.
Apparently we don't want that. Apparently we don't want to be second.
No.
My question.
I don't know if you're talking to him or
can I answer?
Murray, I want to answer my question, right? I really want to answer my question. From what I've understood tonight from our panel, and from what I've understood from people in the chat, and what I've understood on other shows I've been on the last 2 days.
You've been on too many shows, by the way.
Well, I'm hearing the same thing on every show, right? I'm hearing the same thing on every show. I'm hearing it out of some of your mouths tonight. According to us as a fan base, the issue with this season is being 17th. That's the issue. It's been unacceptable, right?
The issue with this season, not just 17th. We've played shit. And we've lost too many matches, playing shit.
Normally the team in 17th is shit.
No, you have to iron it out. The problem with this is not just 17th. We've played shit football, no patterns of play. We've not really got an identity. We've not got an identity in how we play. Still, how do we play? How do we play? Explain to me.
I just want to answer my question.
Let him ask the question. Let him ask the question.
Answer the question, and then you have to tell me, how do we play? What's our identity in the way that what we've been trying to do for the last?
What is our identity?
So if we had an identity, played well, but we're 17th, there's a problem then. So it's okay.
No, I've asked the question. You answer. You know what? Say what you want to say, but I still want an answer to the question. But a serious answer, not an ironic one, not a taking a piss out of me one, because I don't want. I want you to answer the question.
What are you?
Because you're answering it with irony, man. I've answered the question. For the 2.5 years, what has Ange Postecoglou has shown us in the way that we play, what we're trying to do,
now you're asking me a question.
Other than tapping tobes.
I just want to answer my question. Let's go.
Answer the question, but then you have to answer mine, man.
All right, okay. I will answer your questions. I just want to ask mine first, if that's okay.
Go for it.
All right. The biggest issue this season is how bad we've been in the league, which has resulted in us being 17th. Do you agree? Does everyone agree with that? Is that a fair assessment?
I think you would agree with that as well.
Lubo, do you agree with that?
Been a complete shit show still.
All right, that's a yes. All right. So if that's the biggest problem, if next season we don't play too great, we're up and down in the league again, we finish 17th, 15th, 12th, anywhere in a shitty area, but by a miracle, right? A miracle, we win the Champions League. Right? A miracle happens and we do it. Would you guys then say shit season because we finished 15th and the Champions League?
If we win the Champions League next season, I'll buy you a season ticket.
That doesn't answer the question. My question
I
is.
fucking answered it.
No, because that's disingenuous still. Because hold on. Let me go. That's disingenuous because the UEFA Cup this season was achievable.
Yeah.
Right? It was achievable from day one. The Champions League. But so then it's a stupid question because it's not achievable. It's a stupid question. And let me throw something back to you as well.
Can you answer the question before you label it stupid, right? Would you take that?
I can't take it because it's not reality.
It's hard. It's very impossible.
No. Let's say it happens though. Would you take it?
But then you're asking us to be fortune tellers.
Yeah.
I'm asking you to tell me if you take a Champions League title with a shit league campaign, would you take that?
Listen. If we win the Champions League, for me, we can even get relegated. I'll take the fucking Champions League. I'll say thank you. Assalamu alaikum, brother.
But no, I really want to address this head on, right?
Does everyone else agree with Iggy's answer, by the way, before I address Maz's question?
I'll say this. Even though it's impossible to have
as long as I don't have to get naked.
Even though it's impossible to have that form, 17th and win the Champions League, I will take the Champions League, but that is like the extreme miracle. Like,
Maury, that's like me
the league position means fuck all if you win a big enough prize.
Yeah. If you're a fortune teller and you can predict the future,
the only
an achievable prize. An achievable prize.
You know, I can make any scenario up and say, would you take it? Yes or no? But it doesn't mean anything because the thing is, what I would say,
because what it shows is that the league
how do you plan for that?
Bigger deal to you guys.
No, so answer my question now. How do you plan for that?
I don't know how to plan for something like that. Just like I don't know how to plan the shit season we've had. I won a trophy. Because I didn't believe Ange won a trophy this year the way we were playing.
But so this is what I'm saying. So you're willing to gamble right, on something where the odds are so stacked against you, right, that as an opposed to
I don't think
getting
we'll win
in
the
a
Champions League
manager
next year, Maz. I
that
don't
has
think we'll win the
pedigree,
Champions League.
What do you think?
where you're more likely to achieve something than not, and that's the problem with your whole style.
What do you think, Stel? What do
No,
you
no,
think?
no.
What
My
do you
point
think
is, you would all accept the Champions League and mug off the league. Is what my
Mystic
point
Meg.
is.
Oh no,
If
but
we won
that
the
question,
Champions
You can't answer it,
that
Maz,
question-
because it means you've got to say yes. I agree.
No.
Still, you can't answer it.
No,
no,
I
I
I
heard
can't
that
answer it because it's
question.
not achievable.
No,
exactly.
You
no,
can't
I heard
answer it
that
because it
question.
admits the league is not as important as what you guys are making out this season. It's
No,
not.
I heard
Can I-
that question on Salva's stream earlier, and literally, I'm going to be honest, I almost fell out my chair, especially with Ben's response, because this is where context comes in, right? The question was, if you finish second in the league, and then you made to the semifinals of the Champions League, right? And you said failure, and I almost fell out my chair. Here's the thing, right?
Sign
First of
Arteta.
all,
Get him in. Get Arteta in.
here's the three things.
Arteta in.
Number one, not every team wins a trophy. It's like saying Sunderland, right? They're in the Premier League, and they finish 8th, right? I wouldn't say that's a failure because they have no chance of winning the league, though they have a chance, but it's astronomical, and they had a good season. They finished 8th. Now, going back to Arsenal finishing second back-to-back years is failure. But in the context of us going from 17th to second and semifinals of the Champions League, that not only is a progression, it's a good year. It's not a failure. We went from second. We put ourselves in a position. Now, if the following year we don't win the league after finish second, okay, I can see that. Arsenal, yes.
You just said you'd take 17th to win the Champions League. So would you
How
care
do
if we
you
come
plan for
second and
that?
come semi-final?
I want to know how you plan for it, and then I'll get on board.
It doesn't make sense to me.
Now,
It doesn't make sense.
Arsenal, it is failure because they finished second 3 years ago. They finished second last year. Then they finished second.
They're the
this
butt of
year.
all jokes right now.
It's failure. I'm gonna tell
because
Arsenal
they're not winning trophies.
It's failure.
They're not winning trophies.
Especially the fact that
think-
Man City fell off.
Mari,
Yeah, that's failure.
If Arsenal won the FA Cup this year, no one would be bantering them.
Mari,
If Arsenal won the FA Cup this year, no one would be bantering them.
Mari, do you think the owners, right, when they sit
If
down,
they won
with
the FA Cup,
manager,
no one would banter
do
them.
you think the owners, when they sit down with the manager,
petition trophies. Arteta is a failure because 3 years he did second place.
Yeah,
If
but
we
Mari,
got second place
do you
next year,
think, right? Do you
And
think
got a trophy
that when,
second year.
do you think
European.
that when Levy sits down with Ange, right? Ange goes to him, how about I finish 15th next year, but I'll win you an FA Cup? Do you think that's going to be a legitimate discussion?
Levy would never go for that. Never.
Right. Okay, let's change the scenario.
Please don't go
Do you
for
think a legitimate discussion would be, right, how about I finish 11th, I'll get you to a semi of the Champions League, and I'll win you a League Cup? Do you think that's a discussion?
I honestly think that Levy.
Yeah,
wants
because he's got the
Champions
top
League.
floor money.
I
Right?
honestly
No,
think he wants
11th?
top four.
No, I said 11th. What are you
He
talking
said, "Oh, sorry, 11th. I beg your pardon. Say, what was it again, Maz? The last one? Sorry, I misheard. Sorry,
about?
mate.
I said 11th, right? I'll get to a semi of the Champions League, and I'll win you a League Cup. Do you think
No, he
that's a
wouldn't.
discussion?
I don't think Levy would accept that. No.
And my point to posing those two questions is to show how ridiculous it is hypothesizing, right, where you're going to finish and if you win something, because you never plan for that. You can't plan, right, to do that unless you know you're a mid-table club and you put all your bets into winning cups.
Yes.
Right?
Do
We're
you
not
think
that club.
Okay, Maz, let
We
me
are
flip
not
that on
that
you.
club. We are a club,
Yeah.
right? That, as we've said many years on these shows for the last 6 years, we should be finishing in the top 4 and above, right? And we should always try and win cups. That's how you plan. And with Ange, you cannot
never done
guarantee
that.
me that he'll get
We've
anywhere
never
near.
done that, though. We've never done what you just said. It's never been
Yeah,
done
but
under this ownership.
It doesn't matter. The point
It
is,
does,
when you,
because now
No,
you're
it
being
doesn't.
now you're
no,
being
it doesn't. No, you
unrealistic.
cut me up and you're not
Because
letting me
want-
finish my
you
point.
want-
You want to try and
No,
hammer
no,
your
you're being-
point. Let me finish my point, and then you can hammer me on the other points. the reason, right? It's immaterial whether it's happened or not. The point is that you want the club to try and do it, and therefore, by them trying to do it, they buy the right players and the right manager in, right? You can't say keep Ange on the hope that he does something, because
It's
the
not
hope.
Proven winner.
Did you hope he was going to finish 17th?
No.
Exactly.
But that's not what happened, though. He won a trophy. He's
No,
proved
but
he
did
can
you,
win at
hope,
this
did you
club.
hope? So at the start of the season, you said he's going to win the Europa League and we're going to finish 17th. No.
At the start of the season, I didn't want him
You
here.
predicted.
At the start of the season, I didn't want him here. Yeah. And he proved me wrong.
You predicted 6th or 7th. I predicted 8th or 9th, I think.
And he proved me wrong, Maz. He proved me wrong. He won the Europa.
Right, but what I'm saying is you're willing to gamble. And I don't think
Not
that's
gamble.
right.
He's a proven winner.
Massive gamble still.
He's a proven winner. Conte was a gamble. He won nothing. Jose won nothing. Poch won nothing. Redknapp won nothing.
It's a massive gamble. We're not playing in a Europa League next year. We're not playing against these teams.
We've got a better squad, so we can give it a go. We need a better squad.
Can I just ask you one other question?
We lost 22 games out of 38 still. You seem to have forgotten that. Because
you've forgotten that we won a trophy and we're back in the Champions League, which Nottingham Forest couldn't do. Which
you can't build.
Champions League doesn't matter this season. Yes, it does.
That's
the whole remit of this
health on quicksand.
Champions League money.
It's a one-off still.
What concerns me?
Unless you build foundations and you build a team properly, this is a cup win built on quicksand. We're never going to do this again under this guy. John George is 100% correct.
He deserves a chance to show that he can do something.
Oh, hang on. Horrid brand of football. Beating second string European teams to win the Europa League shouldn't save his job. Get him gone now. He is not going to get us anywhere in the Champions League.
John George goes around all the channels trolling, man. Forget John George. He trolls everyone.
But
he goes on one channel and blasts us. He comes on here, praises us. John George just does the rounds. Forget John George.
Still, do you not think that this geezer, this guy is not technically and tactically, is completely inept, man. He's not up to the level. Like I said, man, I get why you're saying what you're saying about him winning. He got us over the line. But we have seen so many matches where this geezer has shown failures technically and tactically every game. You've broken it down in so many of your shows that you've broken how quick. Now, but what have you honestly seen in 2.5 years? You winning Europa, we got it, man. I get it. I get why you're on that battle.
He can win an FA Cup next year, Iggy.
Can I ask you another logical question? Because I think I'm on fire tonight with you, and it's great. It's great to get the conversation out because I like to understand the background behind it. Right. So in your last couple of days, you've said that you would take finishing 15th, 17th, 16th to win another trophy. Okay.
An FA Cup,
an FA Cup or something like that. Right. Okay. So here's my question then. And again, it comes down to what evidence do you, because we've got no Europa next year, right? Champions League. Let's just write the Champions League off, right? Because we're never going to win that. Okay. And we never win the league. So you would take a cup. We've always said, and I think we can all agree this, that at some point in the domestic cups, you have got to beat one of the top 6 clubs to win that competition. Evidence based on the last 2 years is that Ange, when it comes to playing Liverpool, Arsenal, Chelsea, etc., shits the bed and we don't get it over the line, right? We crap the bed. So it's a bit disingenuous to say that you would take that, when my point of view is, I don't think that it should be a given, or we should go into a season thinking we're going to win that competition, screw the league, because we're just one of hundreds of teams that go into that competition, and we are well below the standard of the teams that generally get to the final, like a City or someone like that. So I think it's going to be a long, long time if Ange was to say before you would get back to a position to get, and I agree with Iggy or Ian who said it, I think the best chance would be to get back into the Europa League, not a domestic trophy, because I think they're harder when you get to the end of it. You're going to have a much more competent teams than that Man United team, because let's be honest, our defending hasn't been the best. They're shit at attacking as well. So they done us a favour. Not taking any credit away from the boys, they played out of their skins. But I don't see where Ange employs that same thought process in terms of getting it over the line against a Man City or an Arsenal or even a Newcastle or a Chelsea in a domestic cup. So I don't, from your point of view, I get your point of view, and I get why you say you'd more prefer that, because we're not going to push on in the league and it's not no success there coming fourth, third, second or something. But I would throw that back to you and say, I don't believe that we've got what it takes right now with Ange to actually win a domestic league cup. I don't see that. I think the Europa League was our easiest chance of winning a cup, and I'm so glad that he did it. Credit in the bank to him for that. Honestly, it's still credit in the bank to him for doing that, and I get it. But I don't see where what you want is going to come from, because I think they're harder competitions.
I want someone.
Back to you still.
I want someone when it comes.
Although Palace did it, so I'll take that a little bit back.
You've answered your own question. I want someone, when it comes down to the crunch, who can get it over the line. And when it came down to the crunch, I repeat, in that final, he had the right tactics. He started the right lineup. He didn't show emotional sentiment and start Son when Poch started Kane. And when we had sniff of winning it, 10, 12 minutes to go, he said, right, Danzo on, back five, lock it off. And we did it.
You're not answering it again, Stel. You're deflecting. Again, you're talking about a bang average Man United team. I'm telling you, take Man United out of that equation and put City there, put Liverpool there, put Arsenal there. I don't think the outcome is the same. I don't, because they have the players to crack a low block. I don't think he would be the same scenario, and that's what you're pushing forward through in the future. You're saying, "Oh no, look, let's not worry about the league. Let's just go for a cup." Well, I don't think it's the same scenario in a cup. I think you would struggle against one of those teams because you have to play them at some point.
I think it was a bit cornered with the options that he had. He had no creative midfielders available. He had to play the three midfielders, the only three midfielders he had available. And he had to look at that situation and say, do you know what? I've got three defensive midfielders here. I've got the most changed on the subs. Who have I got? I've got Danso, probably my strongest defender, along the other side. So, tactically speaking, I think the way we played it was forced upon him. The same way he was forced upon it when we beat Man City away. But what happened when things are forced upon him? He gets results. It's really ironic. He gets results when things are backs to the wall. Like we haven't got the selection of players. Again, Man City, we had to play that way because he had no other choice to play with. Against Man United, we had to play with three defensive midfielders where normally Kulusevski and Maddison would be available, and he would have played a bit more. I reckon he probably would have played that bit more expansive. But he had to. He had to bring down to back five in the last 10 minutes because he realised Danso can come on and really solidify us, and which is why then you Spence as well. I think he was put to a corner and thinking, you know what? In the way that I don't want to normally play, I have to get it over the line. So I do understand it. In that scenario, backs to wall, he did get it over the line. And I commend him for that. But what will happen, that when he's got everyone available, he's also shown me that he doesn't think to himself, do you know what? Maybe I should introduce that little bit more defensive, cautious
He has
side.
shown it. He has shown it.
But when he's got everyone available again, he goes back to what he normally does.
He had everyone available against Frankfurt.
Still, man, fuck it hell.
Sorry to give you an example. Iggy, sorry to give you an example that proves that.
We for 2 years you've been hammering him more than anyone else. You've done shows about tactics and stuff like that. Tonight, you want to tell me wicked?
No, not wicked.
But still, as I said to you,
I never said that. No, hold on. No, 1 minute.
What
guys,
to say?
Can we get this straight? Because I feel that narratives are being created that I haven't said.
What narrative? No,
not you, Iggy. Others. There are narratives.
No, but you're responding to me, so I'm like, you're putting
okay.
Me
Well,
then,
then I feel narratives are being created. Then, because I want to make this clear. I believe a manager that can find a strategic pathway to get it over the line at this club, when every manager has had the opportunity to find a way and they've all failed. This guy found a way when I said no chance all along. He finds a way.
Where do you okay, I understand.
Deserves,
where do you feel?
Man? Can I finish? Right?
All right.
Deserves the chance deserves a chance to prove me wrong. I totally understand. 95% of the fan base are done. Get out. Get me Glasner. Get me Xavi. Whoever.
Would you not
I
feel
get
like
it.
it would be a better option?
Whoever you want. Inzaghi, whoever. I think when the environment is positive and the environment has just won, don't break it. That's what I think. That's what I'm saying.
And I get that. I get that.
Right. And that's Lee, that's why I'm saying it. There's a high probability, very high probability, that come October, he gets sacked. You're all going to say, still, man, this guy should have got in the summer, man. We just spent the money on this guy. There's a high probability. But I've got a belief now. I think he can prove me wrong again. And that's how I feel. That's based on the fact he did something the rest couldn't do, and they all had a chance to do it.
I just have one question to you, Stel. You just
I get why everyone disagrees with me. I get it. And I'm going to get pelted the next 6 months, and I'm going to be sitting here stressed and getting cussed in the chat, called every name under the sun.
I get it.
Normal service resumes.
But December rolls around.
Happy vibes gone, man.
December rolls around. December rolls around. We fired Ange, and it's basically a wasted season.
If we fire him,
how would you feel?
Chernobyl away, we'll be back.
How would you feel, Stel, if by December we fire Ange and it's a wasted season? How would you? How would you feel?
I don't think it's a wasted season because, as managers have proven, they can pick up the reins mid-season and still save it. Managers have proven that, so I don't think it's wasted.
Apart from Emery.
If Ange stays,
But
let's say Ange stays, because that could happen.
But maybe Wednesday we're eliminated from Champions League.
We ain't going to win that Champions League. But anyway, let's just put that one on the side for a minute, Murray.
Never say never.
Let's stay for argument, because we can't deny the fact that we have to look at the fact that Ange could stay, and it can happen, guys.
I think they're going to keep him.
I think he will.
Listen, of course,
my opinion's irrelevant. I think he will.
Of course, there's a good chance that he can stay. There's a good chance that he can stay. What would you like to see this summer for him, and what would you like him to do, or what would you like him to deliver for next season?
I would like Ange this summer to go into that boardroom and say, I've given you something you've never seen here. You sat there and watched that parade. You know what it means to this fan base. Now listen to my direction. Whatever budget it is, go and get me quality, proven players. No more kids, no more tells. Just get me quality, bring it in, and leave it to me, and let me do it my way. And then, if he gets that, I want him to then go into the season and show me he can be flexible with the tactics far more than what I've seen, not just in the Europa. So when we're in a game and it's not going to plan, he can switch it and go to a back five or stop inverting the fullbacks that he's learned. If I see that, Iggy, I honestly believe this guy's going to bring us trophies. I really believe he will. If he doesn't, if those two things, the window in the summer and him being adaptable, doesn't happen, he's gone by October.
Can I add a third to your point?
And I'm going to get bullied like a school kid in the playground. I'm going to get ruined.
Can I add a third thing to your point, to your list, if you'll accept it? If he signs Tell again, I'm done.
If he signs Tell again, then I think it's an acceptance that we don't stand a chance next season.
Nothing's
because
going to change. Nothing has changed.
If that happens, nothing has changed. More kids.
That's a Werner 2.0.
But
look, guys.
It's another kid. Tell could turn out to be good in 2 years. The problem is, it's another kid. We haven't got time for it.
We lose the likeness.
We haven't got time for kids.
We lose the likeness of Mikey Moore ever making someone as
We've got Odeberg, we've got Gray, we've got Bergvall, we've got Phillips, we've got so many youngsters.
I do honestly believe
enough.
Ange stays or Ange goes. Time will tell us. Time will tell us what we're. I don't know. We'll have to wait and see on that one. You guys know how I feel about it, but I honestly believe the best way we can do right now, without just adding 2, 3 quality players like of the level required, with a 3-5-2, 5-3-2, because we've got it there, man. We've got Porro and Udogie could be wicked wing backs, really quality. We've got the midfield three. We've been playing with a midfield three for a long time. And we could play with a back three with Romero, Danso, and right now Van der Ven. I can only go by what we've got. Then if Romero leaves, then we'd have to get another quality defender in. But I honestly think we've got all the foundations to really kick on. And Johnson, but for those who say, well, what does that leave Johnson? Johnson can play as an inside forward because he's got a knack of scoring goals. So he could play alongside Solanke. If Son's available, he plays. Or we get another centre forward that could score more goals than Solanke, then get him in. But I really do feel like, I know Glasner. The reason why I want Glasner, I'll tell you why, guys, because I think he would maximise this squad for what it is. We could play with it. He's been playing with a back three at Crystal Palace, 3-5-2 or 3-4-2-1 or 3-4-3, whatever. And I feel like we've got that already in the squad. He wouldn't ask for a lot because he's already got really good quality players in his team. And I think with his coaching, he will up a level, and then perhaps he can go for the FA Cup and the Carabao Cup, which for me remains the two realistic cups that we could win and bring at Tottenham, one or the other. Champions League, we're not there, and League, we're definitely not there. That requires more, and that could be in a 2-3 year down the line if we add every season with 2-3 quality players to up the level, technical level, tactical level, and depending on the and also the backing of the club, which is imperative. That has to be the number one thing, because you know what? If that happens, then us, the fans, can dream. But that's why I want the change, because I feel like we can maximise what we really had by then 2-3 players. And I do think Glasner right now, because he plays that way, he'll be a perfect fit. Now, listen, still, you can rightly say, you have to say, look, if we do provide Ange Postecoglou what we've got with this current enthusiasm that we've got, we've just won a league. If everyone's,
Can I say, if Glasner came in, he would need the same backing, right? He would need those quality players as well.
But all managers do. And I feel that's why Conte and Jose failed. In the end, they failed because I think they had too much opposition there. I really do, because...
Don't you think Ange has played it smart with this ball? Don't you think he's played the game?
Yeah, listen, listen, I'll tell you what, I was surprised more than anything else, and I don't know if it's credit to Ange, I'll never know. For me, Levy had ample opportunities and reason, because he gave him loads of reasons. 22 league defeats. He gave him loads of reasons up from January, right up to March, right up to May, to sack him. He gave him so many results. They could have been, who would have said anything if he had sacked him? The fact that he stuck it out and said, no, thinking this guy is still in a job. Doesn't matter what he does in the league, he's still in a job. Credit has to go to Levy, man, because he stuck with him and he brought him in the Europa Cup. Now, if we had sacked him, we wouldn't see that the Europa come to White Hart Lane. I have to say that, man. I don't know how he's done it, man, because I thought Levy was going to pull the trigger at least on 5 or 6 different occasions from January right up until April, in my opinion. The fact that maybe I don't know what the selling point was for Levy. I don't know if it's the contract. I don't know if it's like Ian said earlier, he's on a 4-year and after a lot of money paying out. I don't know, man.
I think the bonus for winning it was cheaper than the layoff payment.
Maybe. I don't know what the reason was for Levy not to pull the trigger, because he had ample opportunities to do it. He had loads of opportunities to sack him and he didn't. So
I could throw this at you as well, Iggy. I could say to you're saying about, sacking him and, he wouldn't have brought us Europa. How do you not know that bringing someone else in December or something like that, and we might not have gone to that Europa League final and battered United 4-0?
And
how do you know? No one knows.
No, of course no one knows.
There's no scenario.
What Sava's saying here. The funny thing is, no other club in any Premier would allow their manager to get 17th for this to be even in discussion. This would have been sacked. I agree. This is what,
as Amaz says, it's a risk. Levy took a risk.
It surprised me that Levy at any point didn't sack him this season, and I think he'd had so many points during the season to sack him, and he didn't. What was the reason? Did Ange sell it? What was the reason why? Because he sacked other managers for a lot less. He sacked so many.
Can I do one super chat and I'll bring you in because you need to speak? You haven't spoken in ages. I just want to say, Imi, your super chat is about an individual I refuse to talk about because he's a racist, nasty character. I can't respond to your super chat, Lubo.
I don't understand that, but also, can I say, in addition to that super chat, what has that super chat got to do with the context of what we've been speaking about all evening?
I don't know, but they've paid money. I
would like to answer. You don't have to answer it. I would like to know an answer now from what was the person that sent it? I don't know who it was, Bring it up. I'll read it. I don't care.
No, you do. It's another YouTuber who's a nasty character. I don't want to discuss them.
Okay, that's fine. But what is the
do you know what? I shouldn't even brought it up. I made a mistake bringing it up.
What was the context of even bringing it up? We've been speaking about football all evening. That is just a
they want to wind up. They want to wind up.
Yeah,
the
that's
plot
a stare shit up.
Yeah,
Listen. I'll say this. Every person has the right to follow whatever YouTube content creator they want, whether it's this one or the next one. Go and do that. Don't bring their shit over here and don't bring our shit over there. It's as simple as that.
Yeah, well said.
Follow whoever you want.
Don't bring
don't bring that shit. Just go and follow whoever you want. And if you want to subscribe and unsubscribe, absolutely your choice. Go and do whatever fills your heart. Just don't bring the shit staring over here, and vice versa. By the way.
Well said. Lubo, you haven't spoken for ages, man. Listen, you can talk for as long as you want now because you've probably got about an hour's worth of conversation you're allowed to have.
Well, in terms of, just trying to. God, there's so many things I want to say. Still, it was important to win the trophy.
I am listening. Okay,
it was important to win the trophy, and 17th I can live with for one season because winning the trophy was more important than finishing 7th, 8th, all the way through to 17th. And we've got, listen, we've got in the top 5 have got into the Champions League. So in effect, we finished in a top 5 position. But going forward, there is nothing that he has done that can convince me that he will take the club forward. There just isn't. Just everything from his tactics to his rotation to his training that causes injury, not listening to medical squad who tell him when players are in the red zone and he doesn't listen. The man got lucky. Listen, I'm absolutely delighted. I had a fantastic time. It was up there probably with my best three experiences with Tottenham Hotspur in my lifetime. So, and he did brilliantly with his tactics right the way through from the quarterfinals, and by bringing out the videos from their players' loved ones to play them before the final, got them fired up, was a masterclass as well. So I don't want anybody to say that I'm completely biased and I don't appreciate people. He did very well there. But everything else he's done still has been abysmal. Just abysmal. And because he got lucky with this Europa run, he hasn't got a Europa type competition next season with that level of competition. He's now into like the big boys. And if he carries on playing the way he did, then we will go the same way as Celtic did under him. And we will get battered week after week after week. So I don't see the point of saying he deserves it, give him another game, and if he's no good after 10 games, chuck him out. Well, that just wrecks the season because you've got an opportunity in the summer to get the right players in under the right manager. October's too late. The best players have gone, the best managers have gone. You're just filling in, and you're filling it. And what's the point of bringing somebody in based on that? Well, if he's no good in 10 games, get rid. He showed us the way forward. I've got to tell you something. If you'd have had Conte, Jose, any number of managers this season from Christmas onwards, they would have won the Europa League for Spurs. There's absolutely no question about it. And they would have seen that the club, they would have seen, listen, I have not diminished his ability and his kudos in bringing home the trophy. I think it's fantastic. He did a great job. But the level of manager that he is, there are other managers that we could have brought in that would have done the job. And, if they'd have been available, which they weren't, I know the Contes and Mourinho's, they would have taken Tottenham through the quarterfinals, through the semis, through the final, and they would have won it. Because these guys are winners. And terrific, we won it, but the league, 22 defeats in 38. There is no excuse for this. We lost 26 games in total. I don't know of another team. I think Wigan lost 21 when they got relegated. And Birmingham, I think, went down. Did they go down, or they finished very low and they won the League Cup about 13 years ago, and they lost 19 games in the season. We've lost 26 games. We've lost 40 matches since November 23. 40. Think about that. That's more than an entire league season. And I don't want to throw gloom and doom. It's absolutely fantastic. We won a European trophy. Let's all celebrate. Let's go on celebrating. It was a great event, and Spurs needed it because we were 17 years without a trophy. But seriously, if anybody thinks without having a trophy without having a competition like this and the level of clubs like this that we're going to go into, if anybody thinks that we're going to go and win a trophy next year, playing the way we do under this manager, with the rotation, the training, and everything else. So I'd love him to play a 3-5-2, and all the things you say you want from him, I want the same. But you know what? If we are expecting him to change still, then me and you are delusional. Seriously, and we're smarter than that. We've seen for 2 years that he hasn't changed in the league. He just hasn't.
You know what would have...
He's not going to change.
That's a good point, Ian. You know what really would have made the difference? Let's say, hypothetically, that with 10 games to go this season, he changed the tactics and we started winning and then we won the Europa League. Then I would be in Stel's position because I'll be like, you know what? Something clicked near the end of the season and everything went right and we'll play much better. And we finished mid-table or, 12th or 13th or whatever, but we saw something come back.
Sure.
Right? Let's give him another chance because he like Stel said, he's done something. But the fact that never happened, that's where all this high risk stuff comes in. And I just think it just doesn't make sense. And you made a brilliant point, Ian. It's you give him 10 games next season and you're near enough throwing the season away again. It's how can you do that? I would say, okay, we'll give him, 2, 3, 4 games. But again, your recruitment, the training of the players you might lose during that period, knowing Levy, the players that he might bring in, that's all affected because Ange is still there. Because I don't think Ange can attract the top quality players that the club really needs.
Can I ask you guys a question? If we keep Ange, we don't know. We're going to find out. Levy's going to have to tell us at some point. If we keep Ange, will you guys get behind him, or will it be more, with more criticism and, or you can't watch Tottenham until he's gone? Where are you at with that? If that was to happen, you're gone.
I'll tell you where I am with it. As I said, I think he's staying. I've come to peace and come to terms with that. My opinion doesn't matter about whether I want him in or out, so I'm not going to go into that conversation. But what I expect if he does stay is the first game of the season, whether that be against a big club or whether it be against a Leeds or someone like that, the minute I see inverted fullbacks and us getting cut open down the flanks because he hasn't changed, I'm out. It doesn't matter. Don't leave it to October. It will do me for one game because that shows me he hasn't changed and he never will change. And that's my only concern with him. It's all I've ever wanted him to do is adapt and change the way he plays tactically. I don't think better players are going to make his way of playing miraculously great. So he has to adapt. So first game of the season, if he does exactly the same as he's done before and we're getting carved open, high line, all this kind of stuff still, then I'm already checked out for the season. That's my hope. I don't want that to happen, but I was saying this last season as well, and it didn't pan out. Panned out exactly the same. If it's exactly the same this season, then I can't get behind it. It's as simple as that.
Just to follow Lee, I'm the same way. I mean, I'll go in first game of the season, and if I see, I'm expecting to see Pornhub FC, Cuckfest, at home, people coming in, other than, the one shot on target, we've had one shot on targets the last 4 games, and, teams are getting 29 shots, everything's spread wide open, so I'm expecting, even with some of the signings, more of the same, because if he's going to play the same tactics, like, I'm going to be checked out by September. I hope not, but if I'm a betting person, I expect for us to be wide open and in the Champs League and in the league, and that's why I keep saying it's a waste of season.
If he plays the same tactics, though, don't you think he'll be sacked, guys?
Yeah. So I'm going to see the same Pornhub FC type deal. I'm hearing rumors now that we signed Tell, so it's going to be the same depression. I'm going to be checked out. And then I guess I could pray and hope for a miraculous, I don't know, Carabao Cup run, FA Cup run. I mean, I just don't believe in this guy. I'm just being bluntly honest. Thank you for that trophy, but I don't think you are the man to take us forward. I truly believe it. So I'm ready for a cup fest next season. just this.
Sorry, just clarify, Murray. Did you say cup fest or cock fest? Because if you want a cock fest, then give me a call.
Wow.
See you.
Wow.
Got a farm, plenty of chickens, mate.
Because that's what I saw all season. Pornhub FC. You know what I'm saying? Get the tequila out, watching the games, and it's just watch my team get pumped week in and week out. It just says,
let's wrap it up. It's been a long show, 3-hour marathon, 550 odd watching throughout. Thank you everyone for watching. I hope you enjoyed it. My God, I'm knackered, man. I'm absolutely battered. Big up to all the super chats: Sanilla, Tom81 channel member, Jason Groves, Henry Thong, BSC Radio, Jamie Allen, Stuart Marcus, John Cooper, Jamie Allen, Marlon Blade, Designated Hotspur, Football Heritage TV, Sava. Make sure you subscribe to his channel. Imi, and then channel members Tony and Tony Rodriguez and the 2 Mark Show Cookie. Big up to you all, guys. It's been emotional. I'm gonna end it on a positive, right? And then we can go full blown, all hell breaks loose again when Levy tells us what's happening next. We've won a trophy. Let's milk it one last time. Back in the Champions League. Massive decision for Daniel Levy to make now. Does he stick or does he change the manager? We will find out soon. Have a good one. Look after yourselves. Up the Spurs.
The